And I think we should be live right now. Let me just have a little check in the background. Yep, here we are. We are online here in Imola, and we are ready for the third round of MYASS. Sadly, as I said before in the race briefing, let's say, I'll have to take a little bit of a drink of water every time I say the name of this championship. So I'm gonna start right now with a little sip, which hopefully won't turn myself into a very bad person. Anyway, it's just very hot water, so nothing too bad really. And here in Imola, as people are starting to join, we're gonna have the third round, which is gonna be a sprint race. We have something new around here, which mainly is, you know, the presence of this amazing track, which many people around the server don't really like, but I mean, that's personal preference. I personally love Imola, but I mean, what can you say? People may like, or maybe not like some tracks, and I cannot tell them to forcefully like some tracks. And while we have practice, of course, we're gonna take the occasion to take a look. And Forever tells me there's a little bit of a problem. What is the problem, Forever? Tiz is eating an Amatriciana. Yeah, if you don't know, Tiz is known for having a little bit of a how can I say this? Let's say wait time. So when he goes to eat, you usually have to wait like 3 geological eras to wait him to return. But that's being said, that's Amatricianas aside and everything, we can have a look at what we have today on the grid. First of all, the first guy who's actually trying to set a lap time, or actually, you know, doing some practice lap around the track, is Nessie, or Nezu, who had his debut last time around of course, Sebring. And this time out, he still doesn't have a lot of practice, but I feel like he's gonna go a little bit well, mainly because he knows the track a bit better. I would like to say that it's easier, but if you know Imola, you should know that it's not an easy track at all. And, of course, he's quite an experienced driver overall, so hopefully, as we see people kinda not driving straight around the track, I'm kinda sure that he's gonna have a nice time this time around. Anyway, him aside, we have the return of Alex Maggio, who missed the last round in Sebring. We just know how fast this guy is, and we'll have to we'll have to keep an eye open on him, of course, during this whole event. We know for a fact that he doesn't really feel too fast around here, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna surprise us as usual. I'm gonna take a little bit of a moment to actually remember some guys I know that they should take part on this event, because they send me levers and everything. So I'm gonna, of course, write them. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna take the occasion to actually read Virus' comment, which states, "Thanks to the guys who actually removed the snow during their free time from this track." In case you didn't know, if you actually race in December, or I think January as well, in Assetto Corsa, for some reason some tracks actually get snow, which is, can be nice to look at, of course, but can be also a little bit deceptive, or, you know, difficult to have a look at while driving. And some people were kinda lamenting that, so of course having a nice sunny weather here in January is of course nice. Anyway, as Alex Maggio is actually driving and doing his stuff, let's say, around here, we have a look at the other drivers. We have Ricardo, back again from mainly round 1. He missed the second round, of course, but now he's back to try and have a nice and strong finish here in this sprint in Imola. Then we have, once again, Adriet, a very nice rookie for the whole championship and sim racing as a whole, and I think he's doing quite nicely. He had, of course, a little bit of a rough round 2, but I feel like he has some very good potential, and I'm gonna keep an eye open on him, of course, as well, because we know how fast he can be. Then we have Catalan. He showed during the last race in Sebring how fast he can be. He has literally 0 practice around this track, so this is probably all his practice, this whole 40 and plus minutes of driving. And of course, we have to keep an eye on him, because he showed that he can be a very fast guy, but as fast, of course, as Lopter, who is the, of course, little spoiler, the winner of the last race around Sebring. And of course, one of the people we want to keep an eye on, because he is fast, he knows how to drive, and of course he's very consistent, which is something else to keep in mind. Meanwhile, Titz tells us that he's at the second plate of his, not even dinner, he's actually the other mill, which I cannot remember how it's called. And oh, there's also the Kurma, so they actually joined, so I didn't actually notice them. Where is it? Oh, it's Skilltech, racing with his new livery, and of course his new racing number, which is 475. Last time out, I think it was a 493, I cannot remember really, but of course he's here to bring and uplift the flag for his team, which is of course the Kurma Autosport. And we also have Firestar, where there's a plethora of drivers around here. We have a very big grid around this track, a very competitive field, of course, and a very nice prize, of course, for the winner, which is of course nothing. We don't really have a prize for this kind of stuff. But that being said, I was trying to tell, of course, the kind of driver we have. We have Maggio, we have Catalan, we have Nezu, we have Darts, once again, another very good driver around here. We have Rick, we have Skilltech, we have Chanso, we have Adriad, we have Forever, who is driving and also hosting the server, so thanks to him once again. We have Jason Short, also driving his car, still with the same livery as last time, but as we said, the livery and the hope is the last thing you lose. Then of course we have Lopter, we saw before, Firestar. Now, I think it didn't have a lot of practice around here, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. And we also have Thomas is ready right here, which is another very fast driver, and I think it's gonna probably perform a little bit better in, of course, sprint races instead of endurance races, since last time he actually told us that he kind of struggles with the car around long races, which makes sense considering it's a little bit difficult to drive. They're telling Lopter is channeling is in a Max Verstappen with his pre-race Red Bull. I mean, makes absolute sense, but of course we'll have to see if that actually works or if it's gonna be a little bit difficult. Also, I have a little bit of something new here for both practice. Mainly I'll probably use that in qualifying, but you know, this whole broadcast as a whole, which is, and I'm gonna use Alex Maggio as an example for this thing, we have the helmet cam available for the onboard footage. So let's have a look at the track from Alex Maggio perspective as he goes through one of the hardest corner of this track, which is Aqua Minerali. You have to brake very late, but of course you also have to try and keep all four wheels inside the track limits, mainly because if you don't do that, you touch the grass on the outside, and then when that happens, of course you end up, you know, kind of fucking dying in the in the exit of the corner, which is not very nice. But here in MYASS, everything is allowed, so fucking hell, I said that again. So another sip. There we go. And as we see, this is another very interesting corner, and I think it would make a little bit more sense to actually try and tell you every single corner of the track by having a look at an onboard lap from Alex Maggio. And of course, telling you everything we have. So the main straight, of course, is a straight, so nothing really important to know about this whole place, mainly because you have to go straight and you have to wait for the braking point for turn 1, which is very hard. Usually I try to take the brake after a little later of 200 meters, like Alex did here, and you have to be very careful with the throttle here because it's nothing to exactly lose the car. So I don't think we're gonna see the lap from Alex Maggio, so we're gonna take a look instead to, let's see, who do we have getting near the start of the lap. We have Forever getting throughout and close to the last two corners. Also just so Firestar getting out of the server, but I don't see any messages outside of that, so I think he's just had a little bit of a temporary issue, so hopefully he'll come back. Anyway, let's go on board with this time Forever.exe with his helmet cam and have a look at what kind of lap we can actually see in this track. So as he pulls out, I think it's gonna be a 2 minutes flat, maybe 2 minutes 1, yep, 2 minutes flat, and also the third time, fastest time of the session. We go towards the 200 meter board for the braking spot, which is a little bit after that, of course. Then you go to the left, hitting the curb, then on the right, trying to not get too much on the sausage, although this car actually handles sausages very well. And then, of course, onto the second straight, which leads to the Villeneuve chicane. Now, if you don't know, the Villeneuve chicane is actually very difficult because you have to actually yeet your car inside here, and then, of course, brake very hard for this right-hander here, which is very deceptive because you cannot go too wide as much as you think. Then we got Tosa, which is a hairpin, a very large hairpin. Usually we do that in second gear, but nothing, you know, tells you to do otherwise. Usually try to do it third to second gear during the midst of the corner. And then you go towards this fast left-hander up here, which I cannot remember the name of, but it's not too important. You try to do this in third gear, stay close to the inside, and you can actually extend a little bit on the outside to then dip down downhill towards Acqua Minerali. This is the heavy braking point I was telling you. You actually have to make the car roll around here, then turn in second or third gear, depending of course on how fast you're doing, and then uphill once again, going towards one of the most critical corners of the track, which is of course Variante Alta. Here you usually brake before the 50-meter boat, or later if you're feeling brave, and then take the left, and then of course right. I do that in the reverse, but don't mind me. Curves to get a nice exit, and then go once again downhill towards one of the heaviest and of course hardest braking points of the track, which is this left-hander right here. You have to brake very early, earlier than you may think, because otherwise you go wide. Then take the left curb, extend a little bit, then lift to take this corner very nicely and flowing, and then once you go on the exit, you just go on the throttle up to 4th gear and then 5th gear and finish the lap to see if you actually got pole position, a very nice lap time. Right now, Forever, maybe he's improving, I'm not sure. I think he's not, just a little bit, 2 minutes, 0.5, which is very close to his last lap time. And as you get a little bit of traffic, we can see other people also joining the server as well. We also have a new entry in this track, and this time, which is Iron Alex, another member of the Kurma Autosport, racing with the 499 Kurma vehicle. I don't know actually how fast he is. This is the first time I see him, and hopefully he's a fast driver. No clue really. We're gonna find out together, let's say. But this is his debut, and hopefully he's gonna have a nice one. So we're gonna keep an eye on him, of course, as well. But still, since we are in practice here, lap times are not really too, you know, impactful, too significant. But we're gonna find out how fast he is during qualifying, and of course during race pace, because going fast in qualifying and going fast in the race are two very different things, which may or may not come to different prices, let's say. Anyway, as Iron Alex is, I think, starting his lap, I think it's a nice moment to actually tell you something, although I don't know if I can show this on the HUD, I don't think I can, so sadly I think I'll have to tell you this by voice. So, as you may know, this championship doesn't use how's it called? Thermal covers, I think it's called. Yeah, you know, the thing that keeps the tire warm when you get out of the pit lane. And for that reason, usually there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of understeer with these cars, due to the fact that during the first lap you usually have tires which are cold as hell, and of course the car doesn't really want to turn while the tires are not really working. But why is this important? Because today, except of course the 10 km/h wind we have going southwest, we actually have a very hot track. I think it's like 60 degrees on the tarmac and 30 degrees on the air, which makes of course tire hitting a lot more easier, tires more grippy, and I mean like hell of a lot more grippy. And because of that, we're gonna see probably less understeer, but still very aggressive driving all around. Another thing to note, of course, is the fact that Imola is a track which is noteworthy for not being an easy place to overtake. I mean, the whole track, of course. There are, of course, some overtaking spots, and I think I'm gonna use the tool to drive stuff like this, of course, to show you where I think mainly we may see some overtakes. So, of course, the prime overtaking spot we may see something, and of course, this is also the place where usually in Formula 1 we see stuff happen, is turn 1, which is the one right here. The main reason I say this is because you have to actually get a nice exit out of the last corner, and if you actually manage to go side by side throughout this section, you have a nice way to actually have a battle into turn 1, and that can end up, of course, in a very nice overtaking maneuver. But if that doesn't end there, or people actually, you know, screw up turn 1, there's a nice chance that you may end up with a nice fight going towards the Villeneuve chicane, which is here. More than that, though, I feel like we may see more overtakes on Tosa, which is, of course, the, you know, the hairpin, which is a heavy braking spot, and usually every heavy braking spot are known to be overtaking spots as well. Then the left-hander and the Acqua Minerali may be overtaking spots, but I personally wouldn't suggest doing stuff there, mainly because they are very fast corners, and doing stuff there may end up going, you know, a little bit off track and likely not where you want to go with a car. But if you are patient enough, you're patient and follow the car you're trying to overtake all the way through this sector, you can actually try and do your overtaking maneuver into Variante Alta, which, as we saw, is indeed a very heavy braking point. In case you don't manage to do an overtake there, which may happen, of course, because it's still a very tight corner, the other very important overtaking spot I can suggest, of course, is the last corner. There is a heavy braking spot towards the whole downhill section here, and if you manage somehow to do something there, then you may probably be able to complete an overtake. Of course, this is all theory, we're gonna find out during the race if people are actually able to do that. But if they are not, these are all nice proposals. Well, I say that, Alex Maggio, 56.6, very fast lap time. I think the record is 56.3, which happened during the practice we had earlier than this, of course. And I think we're gonna probably see faster time during qualifying. I personally, I did a 56.9 as my fastest ever lap, but of course, knowing these guys, it's gonna be very likely to see even faster times, and of course, better overtaking opportunities and maneuver. Meanwhile, I got a little bit of a ping on Discord. I'm gonna check real quick what it is. It's an announcement. I think it's for the stream. Yep, it is. So, my bad on that. And while that happens, we can see Alex Maggio also trying a little bit of side-by-side maneuvering and everything. I mean, we know how high this guy can fly, and we know that he knows how to drive this car very well. This, of course, says he's waiting for Alex Maggio dropping a 54.9, which, I mean, it's likely, knowing him. But still, I would like to see what everyone is actually able to do. The 2 minutes barrier is the one to break, and for now, just 6 people have managed to find a way through. Edred, 59.8, Falcon 59.0, Catalan 58.3, Lobter 58.2, Thomas 57.5, and Alex Maggio 56. He's spinning out and crashing into the barrier. Don't know what happened there, but surely nothing nice. And in the meanwhile, Skilltech actually disconnected from the server currently, but I think it's gonna come back quite soon, hopefully. I mean, hopefully, yeah, surely. Anyway, of course, still 27 and something minutes of practice, so there's no need to really be crazy or go crazy around this. We have people driving, trying stuff, trying, you know, setups and everything, but as you know, here in MYASS, everything is allowed, so as we see Falcon crashing out, I'm gonna take a little bit of sip. There we go. And think about how this race is gonna go. Of course, this is a sprint race, 2 races, one with, you know, reverse grid, and the other one with just full sand with qualifying grid, of course, let's say. And if you don't know the format, sprint races here in MYASS, damn it, in MYASS are 30 minutes long, both races, of course, and this means we can have a lot of action during the entire span of the event. Meanwhile, a lot of people going wide through Villeneuve in the background, which is something we'll have to keep in mind while the race goes on. Also, there's Catalan fighting with Forever here in the onboard camera. You can see if he's gonna try something here. As I said, this is a very risky overtaking spot. I wouldn't personally try here, except of course if the other people goes wide. In that case, you can actually try something around the Acque Minerali corner, but it's more, let's say, wise to, you know, lift off and live to fight for another day, especially in race 3. And as we've seen, you know, Forever knows this very well and decided to not fight this one too much. Let's go to another camera, actually. I think there's the static camera, which is very nice, here around this Variante Alta section. As you can see how people take this section with extreme, of course, prejudice and extreme... how can I say this? Like, they try to stay as easy as possible, because otherwise things get very tricky and sticky around that corner, which is what you usually don't really want to see happen. And because of this, I think we may see, you know, experienced driver actually not going for aggressive maneuver and waiting for the mistakes from other sides, and at the same time, of course, people who are less experienced may be going full send on corner where they shouldn't, which may end up in being a little bit of a dramatic situation for some drivers, as we see E going a little bit for a picnic into turn 1. Anyway, let's have a look from the cinematic shot here of Catalan, Falcon, and of course Alex Maggio going through the first sector without too many problems. Villeneuve can be an overtaking spot, Catalan trying to use a little bit of a fear factor to get Falcon to concede the position, things that doesn't really work too much. And while we talk, of course, Catalan, Thomas and Alex seems to be the guys to beat in this race, because they are both... I mean, Alex is in the 56, so once again I think he is the guy who's gonna be leading and probably running away in the first race and likely in the second, although he's gonna have to fight through the pack. But at the same time, I think Thomas and Catalan may have a nice fight like they did last time around. And Lotter, although he's a little bit far away pace-wise, let's say, for now, I feel like he showed how fast he can be during the last 2 rounds. And being the championship leader technically once again and drifting through this corner here, I think he is very likely to show some surprise and premise during this event as well. So, of course, I'm not too sure who's gonna win this one. I'm gonna bet my money, of course, on Alex Maggio. We know how fast he is, but still, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a surprise winner in this race as well. Right now, we had 3 races, and in 3 rounds, we had, in 3 races in 2 rounds, and we had 3 different winners. So I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Catalan or Thomas take the 4th, different winner of this season. That being said, Lobter had a little bit of a snap through Variante Alta and still trying to find some rhythm towards here. And because of this, I think he's gonna try and take into consideration some interesting tactics during the race. But once again, this is practice, so 22 minutes and he parked outside of the last corner, briefly. And while we wait for other people, we can see, I don't know, Skilltech driving around. I think he is... Actually, where is Skilltech? Oh, I think he's parked up. No, actually, he's not existing. Okay, so let's not take a look at Skilltech because he does not exist. And let's actually have a look at Darts, currently P10, with a 2 minutes point 9 as a lap time. Still trying to find a rhythm, still trying to find some lap time, which is, once again, not too easy. But I know him well enough to know that he's gonna be able to find time out, of course, of his driving style. Let's see. Through Villeneuve, breaking point, then going to the right, then the left, and wide into the gravel. So surely this is not gonna be the lap that sets him apart from the pack. Faster, meanwhile, is another very fast driver, at least so he showed in round 1. Now he's driving... he's trying to gain, of course, a little bit of time, probably gaining a little bit of confidence, more of that, because he hasn't really tried this track too much, as far as I know, especially with this car, so probably he's just trying to find a way to get this car into the working window, and of course getting probably a very nice lap time, and weaving a little bit around. Meanwhile, Alex Maggio, he's setting a purple lap time, and he's going towards the last 2 corners, so maybe can we see a lap time faster than 56.6, while the other Kurma Autosport joins the server. Let's have a look through the last corner, penultimate corner, sorry. Then into the last corner now, he took a little bit of grass in the entry, so I don't know if that's gonna probably hurt him a little bit, likely it is. But on the exit, he's doing just fine, and I think he's gonna be able to conclude the lap, although I don't know if it's gonna be at fastest than anyone, and I think it's not. He lost a little bit too much time, it's a 58.0, so no improvement, although he had a very nice second sector. But of course, Catalan is another driver getting something, but no improvement. He had a nice fastest last sector, but not enough to improve his current lap time. And now he touched some grass into the entry, and of course that's gonna compromise his entire lap while chasing after Falcon. Another thing I should mention is that every driver has some opinion around this track, of course. Catalan, he was not really... Let's say he didn't really cover his words too much. He pretty much said that he doesn't really like Imola too much because it's a little bit of an overused track, which, shame for him, but I'm not going to remove this from this event. So he's going to have to survive this one and then move into the next round, which is going to be probably in a very not so much used track for this kind of events, which hopefully is going to be nice for an endurance race. Meanwhile, Iron Alex back into the server, and also we have Musso with the 447 driving and trying to find some pace, of course, for the Kurma Autosport. We're gonna see. I think the Kurma managed to get some points in the last, in the first round, which was in Nürburgring, but I'm not too sure. I cannot remember, so I'm gonna have to take a look and check that soon enough. But as we see, he's currently trying to find a rhythm. Darts clearly has some more rhythm than him and manages to overtake him before Aqua Minerali, while he actually gets, well, first a little bit wide and then tries to make the corner as best as he can. And it does, although a little bit, of course, sideways. Practice is all it takes to get some nice lap times around here. And yeah, as I said, as you can see, air temperature is 36 degrees, so very hot day. And the track temperature is actually 65 degrees, so very hot. And as we see Musu actually getting out of the server, we move to Skilltech, the other Coma Autosport driver, driving in the 200.8 and trying to find, once again, something. Meanwhile, they say we have to, of course, keep wave Alex Del Piero, sponsor of Acqua Minerali, which I mean it's not what I was saying, but I guess we're gonna take our words for that. Let's have a look inside, or actually on board from Skilltech, on how he's driving his lap. So into Tosa, in 3rd gear, then lowering into 2nd gear as I said before, then back into 3rd gear. Let's see if the famous left-hander, which can be a little bit effective or deceptive more likely, is gonna be taken correctly or with some lag as he's doing right now. He is going a little bit wide, so that's surely not gonna help his lap time. But towards Acqua Minerali, maybe he's able to find something. Let's see, into the braking point. He's gonna let the car roll through and then go down to 3rd gear. Actually 2nd gear, which can work quite fine, although he has a little bit of a snap of oversteer. And then into 3rd gear, moving towards the Variante Alta. Let's see what he can do. He brakes very late, I think a little bit too late. You don't really want to be that, you know, fast into the corner. You want to be fast out of the corner. And then, of course, moving towards the penultimate corner, which has a very weird braking spot. I think you should brake towards not even the... yeah, I think the 100-meter box should be nice. And I think it did that quite nicely. Of course, a little bit wide on the exit, but that's optimal, I'd say. And then onto the gas, onto the last straight, taking a little bit too much AstroTurf, which is not going to help the exit, but still, I think it's going to be probably an improvement. Let's have a look. He didn't improve in the 1st sector, he did improve in the 2nd. Is he going to improve in the last sector and take a better lap time? Just a little bit, not too much, but the 200.5 is currently his lap time. As we see also, who was that? I think it was Thomas. Yep, it's Thomas getting out of the pit lane and getting, you know, as his name say, ready for another few laps of practice around this track. Right now we are on 14 drivers and we are still missing some drivers such as Tiziano, and who else should be missing right now? I think there's Brenna, who's also missing. I mean, he actually jumped the first two rounds, so we don't know if he's actually gonna partake this championship or not, although he's subscribed, so hopefully he will. I hope so, because he's a nice driver. But at the same time, who else may be missing right now? I'm not sure. Kurawong, maybe. He took part in the 1st round and he's missing right now. And also, what do we have right there? I think it's Catalan and Falcon having a little bit of a fight. Let's go on board. Sorry, not with the Need for Speed camera, but with the helmet camera here. With Matteo Catalan trying to find a way through, once again, through this corner. And having a little bit of a side-by-side with Falcon, two very respectful drivers, although you may not think about that if you see the beach logo on the side of Falcon. And ooh, very nice switchback for Catalan, who doesn't really work out too well since, you know, Falcon actually extends a little bit the track limits and stays ahead. But, you know, everything, I'm gonna say that again, is allowed here. And I'm gonna take a sip in my ass. There we go. That's some nice water. Anyway, maybe we're gonna see the overtake maneuver into the braking point for the penultimate corner. That is, I mean, that's an interesting line surely, but that's not the way I meant for overtaking into this section. I don't think Catalan is actually trying to overtake. I think he's actually trying to find a way and probably studying the overtaking spots of this track more than actually finding pace. And considering that he has a 57.9, I think he has a valid reason not to concentrate too much about pace, because he can be a very fast driver, and he is showing how to be a very fast driver as well. Meanwhile, Valiant GB, another driver we had in round 1 and missed round 2, is in the server, and is gonna probably start and do something real quick. Forever is asking, where is States? He's still on the practice. What do you mean he's still on the old practice? What the hell is it? Wait a minute, let me just take care of this real quick. Let me just take I think don't tell me he actually got the wrong server. Let me just notice him real quick. I mean, hopefully they can help. I mean, they are all in voice chat, so hopefully they can help themselves, but I'm gonna try and ping him as well, just to let him know that he's entered the wrong server. So hopefully, sorry, I just pulled out the side menu. Hopefully he's gonna join the server, the right server, soon enough. Meanwhile, I missed Catalan doing the maneuver and then of course crashing out into Acqua Minerali. But as I say that, Thomas, purple sector, instantly invalidated by going wide. But yeah, he's showing some premise. Just like Lopter. Actually, Lopter, sneaky, managed to actually get into second place with a 57.3. So it's another guy we have to keep an eye on. And while there's a little bit of a traffic jam into Variante Alta, which is gonna end up with with E getting absolutely killed by Falcon, we can watch and see what we can do. Meanwhile, Virus Tiziano speedrunnando la pietanza per arrivare a guidare. I'm not gonna translate that, but it's a very funny thing. And Valiant getting disconnected currently for the service, so I don't know what's happening, but hopefully it's gonna come back quite soon. Probably some technical issues, but there's still 12 minutes left before qualifying, and I'm sure we're gonna see him once again. So, currently the leaderboard: Alex Maggio, P1 with a 56.6, then Lopter, P2, followed by Thomas is ready and Matteo Catalan, then Adred in on a missing P5, showing once again premise for what he can do, of course. And okay, Valiant got into the server, and I see Tix actually getting, of course, the game turned on, so hopefully we're gonna see him soon. Then we got Falcon in P6, Firestar P7, P8 for Forever, Darts in P9, P10 for Nezu, then we got Skilltech, Ricciardo, Iron Alex, Iron Alex, the last guy with an actual, lap time. Then we got E, Valiant GB, and of course the rightly just joined Tits into the pit lane. So, 16 drivers for this race. This is a lot of drivers. I cannot even remember how many drivers we had in the first race. I think it was still 16, something like that. So, amazing stuff to see the server this packed up this soon, and really I'm a little bit excited to see how this is gonna shape up, because of course we're gonna have the battle for the lead, which is gonna be an elite level of fighting, of course, but at the same time I think we're gonna have some interesting fighting for the points being positioned. So from P5 onwards we're gonna see people actually trying to shoot each other off to get some ever so important points in this fight. Also, another person who is actually missing, sadly, for today's race, which actually announced that he was not gonna partake in this event, is Viper. So, sadly, we won't see Viper racing today, but we wish him good luck, of course, for the next race and whatever else. Of course, he's not, leaving the championship. He's just not able to partake in this event in particular. So, hopefully, we're gonna see him soon. And we're gonna see an onboard from the helmet cam from Tits as he tries to get his tires warmed up. I mean, they should be quite warm considering the track temperature. And as he goes towards this left-hander and getting a little bit wide, we can see Catalan actually getting another purple sector. Meanwhile, Rick say, why am I blacked out? Let me have a look. Where is Richard? There it is. He is. Let's have a look at him. He is. I mean, I don't think he's blacked out. He's here. He's parked up. I don't know why. So, he's waiting for the start, I guess, of this whole event, hopefully. Well, anyway, that being said, let's go back to Catalan, who was actually improving. I mean, not really at this point. He has not improved in this first sector, but maybe, just maybe, he can improve in the second. So, let's keep an eye on him. 9 minutes left, of course. On the leaderboard, you are not blacked out. Oh, you mean like this? Mainly because the leaderboard, for how it works, it keeps the first 10 places actually, fixed on the broadcast library. On the broadcast leaderboard, while the other places go from 5 places here. And if we have more than 16 people, this lower place here starts to rotate. So the main reason it's blacked out is mainly because it's not a fixed place, so you usually can get people getting rotated around this place and so on. So the main reason you are showed as blacked out is not because you did anything wrong, it's simply because you are in the lower half of the leaderboard currently. So nothing too bad, really. That being said, Catalan getting dicey, let's say. Then we got, I think it was Lobter behind him. Yep, it was. He's here, trying to find some pace. I mean, he has some pace as well, so nothing too peculiar. Getting a little bit of grass on the entry once again. I think it did that earlier as well. I think it was Alex Maggio who did earlier. So yeah, interesting stuff. We also saw Falcon briefly going wide right behind, but I'm sure he's gonna be able to do very well. Meanwhile, getting out of the pit lane, I see a Kurma Autospot. Not sure if which one it is. It's not Alex, it's not Valiant. Also, he is here and driving quite nicely. So at this point, I think it is Skilltech. No, it's not. Is Iron Alex? No, it's not. Is it it? No, it's not. I have no clue who it was. I think it's Skilltech at this point. And got back into the pit lane. Anyway, Lobter. He got a purple sector, and although it doesn't show right behind here, it was Sector 3, so my bad on that. We have Falcon actually improving Sector 3, and then of course cutting the corner, so no lap time from him, of course. But, you know, we're gonna see funny stuff. We're getting a lot of purple Sector 3s, although at this point I don't think it's actually accurate, the timing we're seeing on the top left. And because of that, we're gonna ignore that for the time being, especially because we don't really think this is gonna be quite accurate for the time being. Meanwhile, Adriet Tits manages to get into P5, and he's driving in the 58.2. So once again, a top runner, a guy to keep in mind, is this guy right here. I wouldn't write him off, of course, for this whole event, and hopefully he's gonna be able to show us how to actually get stuff done here in this championship. So, who can we have a look at while we wait for the start of this whole event, for this last 6 or actually 7 minutes of practice? We can have a look at Maggio, chasing after Forever. Let's have a look at board of the Italian driver, while Forever takes a little bit of a creative line throughout Variante Alta and lets Alex through. Falcon is actually, I think it's gonna go for a very nice lap time. Let's have a look at him. Okay, what the hell is going on here? I actually think it's not a valid time, although it's counting as valid for some reason down below. And yeah, I mean, it's a 52.0, but I don't think it's actually, you know, valid. And let's have a look at this tree, because this is a very interesting situation, which ends up, thankfully, with no dramatic ending to this whole thing. We get Falcon easily able to stay between Catalan and Lobter easily able to stay behind these two. And as they go into the Villeneuve chicane, they all stay inside the track limits, and without too much of an issue, they all get into Tosa and then towards the fast left-hander up the hill. What a nice little trio we have here. That's all I can say. And I mean, let's just keep an eye on them. I mean, it's cool. We have practice still left. Well, a lot of time left, and I think we don't really have a reason right now to get excited. The exciting part is gonna come later, surely. We can have a look at this. We also can have a look at Jason Short getting out of the pit lane. I mean, if we really want. Or we can have a look at the people in the pit lane, which are in this moment Thomas, Adriet, and Skilltech. But, I mean, there's no reason to do that. We can just enjoy this little battle between these three right now. Getting a little bit of place. And, of course, enjoy what's gonna be a nice little battle later on. Meanwhile, Simin saying, no, wait, I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna see right now in the chat what's gonna ask. So, while we wait for his response, we see a little bit of a battle and a little bit of an overtaking maneuver, a very nice one from Lobter, getting around and through on Catalan, and now trying to find a way through also Falcon, who is not in a peculiar place right now, he's just driving at this point. I think I saw a little bit of a wide moment in T1, yes, I think it's Nezu. Yep, Nezu just stopped on the track. But let's go back to Falcon versus, a very wide maneuver from the 86. He's gonna be able to keep the position. I mean, there's a little bit of a bonk, but he's able to, oh man, they are able to maneuver, but ends up with Falcon getting through the grass. A little bit dirty, but that's okay. Oh, Falcon is actually going for the thermonuclear retaliation, and so is Catalan. And the thermonuclear retaliation is actually completed with of course, Lopter getting a little bit fast NAS lap from these guys here. So friendly driving, of course, between these three. Although it may not look like from Falcon, you know, bloody dying here. But trust me. Trust me. This is gonna be an event. You gotta trust me on this. This is gonna be worth it. Oh, there's Alex Mudge as well. Driving, setting his pace, finding his pace, still driving in the 56.6. I haven't seen his last lap times, so maybe his lap times in the race pace is gonna be a little bit lower, maybe in the 57th, which is still a very fast lap time. But still, I'm curious to see what is gonna be his actual race pace, because he said that he doesn't really feel too fast around here. Although, you know, the lap times doesn't really tell that, but I'm still curious. I'm still curious to see if he's gonna be able to keep up with the pack, or he's gonna be able to slice through, especially in race 2, because I kinda expect him to win or be able to finish quite high in race 1, which makes the question, you know, who's gonna win race 2 instead, because race 2 is gonna be the one with reverse grid, and as we know, reverse grid can be quite chaotic usually, and he's gonna have to be aggressive and overtakey on a track where overtaking is not really that easy. So with that in mind, he's gonna have probably a very boring race 1, likely, but not such a boring race 2 as well. Meanwhile, in the background, there's another driver we've seen little of for the time being, which has been Firestar. He's struggling a little bit to keep up pace, of course, but as we said, he didn't really have a lot of practice on this track, and I mean, with this car a little bit, but not on this track, so likely he's learning now how to make this work, and while dynamically trying probably for some overtaking maneuver, like this very egregious one, he's gonna be... What the fuck was that? He's gonna be trying to you know, to find a way to get into rhythm, and then of course race into the points position. So as we see people getting wide through this section, likely he's not really finding a lot of pace here. He's probably struggling to get some grip. We can see, maybe from Lopter on board, how he's gonna be able to overtake him, and I think he's gonna be doing like what Catalan did a few laps ago, getting side by side with him, going towards this left-hander, and then braking earlier actually to get the inside, push him a little bit wide, and well, these are the risks of driving a little bit wider through that corner, while holy hell, we just seen Forever getting, well, killing Falcon in the meanwhile, but of course doing also a very nice maneuver through these two spun out drivers. So incredible stuff, of course. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the race. But if that happens, well then know that this is gonna be quite chaotic. And I mean, I kinda like that, so it's okay. 35 seconds left to go in this practice session. And then we're gonna be up into qualifying. And at that point, gloves are gonna be off. And people are gonna be trying to find the fastest lap, the golden lap that they need to get into the pole position or into a very nice starting point. And right now, top 10 is looking quite competitive, if you ask me. Why did they wake up all set violent? That's normal, don't worry about that. So, what do we expect from this race? Actually, except of course Rick blocking the entryway for the pit lane. I'm gonna ask to the guys actually watching the stream, which I mean I don't know how many there are. Actually, let me have a look. It's holy hell, 9 people. Hello everyone. All 9 of them. Who do you think is gonna actually? I'm not saying win. Who's gonna have the best race, the most exciting one in your opinion? I'm gonna ask, of course, to the chat, who's probably more wise and knowingly compared to me, what they think is gonna be their protagonist for this event, their driver of the day. As Rich actually tells us that he's slightly crashed into the pit lane entry, he tells us that he is gonna be the protagonist, as we see behind a little bit of a crash between Falcon and Forever. They say that I am gonna be the protagonist. I'm not too sure because I'm just the guy telling stuff on the race stream. And as everyone is actually in the pit lane, I can see actually number 14, which is Jason Short, stopping to take a little bit of gravel into the car. And waiting for the end of practice. Also their starts, also driving. Let's go on board with the helmet cam on him. Let's see how he tackles the corners. Especially this one here, a very tricky one to get right. The answer is he's going a little bit wide, but that is okay. Going wide is allowed, as long as you stay in the track limits. Alpha will win in my car. I find that highly improbable, unlikely, let's say. So, yeah. We're gonna have to wait and see. Also, I think Darts has a little bit of an overshoot into this corner, but that's okay. And I think that's the lap time invalidated. I'm not too sure. Maybe he was inside the track limits, which is actually the green out AstroTurf. But there's no real way to tell right now. Meanwhile, Lopter is another driver who is driving and maybe setting another lap time or going to the pit lane. No, he's going for the end of the lap. And is he gonna improve? I haven't seen his sector times. No, I don't think he is. I think he's just trying not to crash. Yep, he is. So we go back to Darts, who is actually diving into the pit lane and smashing a little bit into the wall, while waiting, of course, for the start of qualifying. And going behind the Pagani, which is actually the car I'm driving, but of course it's technically also the safety car, so let's ignore that one. And as we get into qualifying, we have 1 minute of downtime, of course, before the start of the qualifying. This is the worst commentary I have ever done, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. 1 minute left to go. Place your bets, lads. Who's gonna be on pole? Who's gonna be in second place, of course, and who's gonna be in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and even 9 during this whole thing. Right now, Alex Lopter, Thomas, Matteo Catalan, Tits, Azriel, Falcon, Darts, and Firestar, and Forever complete the top 10. Then we got, of course, after that, Nezu, Skilltech, Ricardo, Jason Short, Iron Alex, Valiant, and then, well, technically me, on the lower end of the field. Why the hell is the Pagani Zonda the safety car? Because it's a Miata, if you think about it too hard. Anyway, 35 seconds left to go to find out who's gonna be the pole sitter for round 3 of MYASS. God damn it, I have to drink again. Some water, of course. There we go. Oh my god, this is some terrible water, I gotta say. Really, really stingy. But that's okay. We wait for the last 5 seconds, and as the light at the end of the pit lane goes green, we go into qualifying. 15 minutes to decide who's gonna be the pole sitter, and people are getting out of the pit lane quite frantically, I gotta say. I can kinda see them. I think the first one of the queue is Matteo Catalan getting out and now trying to work some hit into the tires, of course. Then I think I saw right behind Falcon, I think it was, yes, then Nezu, Forever, and then, well, everyone else who's gonna be in a very big traffic jam. Small track, lot of cars. This is gonna be quite uninteresting qualifying. We're gonna stay with Catalan. We're gonna actually have a look at him, because he's the first one of the queue. And then, of course, we're gonna have a look at the other ones as well to see where they actually can manage to do their lap times. Of course, you can see the effects of, you know, cold tires right here. And of course, Catalan instantly recognized that and decides to get a little bit of heat by walking and weaving left to right towards the entire section. They ask me, Alpha, who do you think is gonna be able to actually take the first row? I have no clue, really. But if I had to bet, I think likely, well, Alex Maggio I feel like is gonna be the main protagonist for the pole position. But for second place, I feel like likely, I don't know, I feel like Catalan and Thomas may be the ones that are very likely to get there. But I wouldn't exclude people like Lopter, Falcon as well, of course, and even Tits or Firestar, because although they had those lap times in practice, I feel like they have a lot of pace in reality. So I'm not too sure. Meanwhile, Thomas is actually still in the pit lane. I'm not too sure why. Probably he's just waiting for the right time, or I hope he's not AFK, because if he is, then it's a little bit of an issue. But for now, we're gonna have a look at Catalan and take a look at his first lap time, once again, from his helmet cam. So let's see how a pro driver does it. through the last corner, taking all the exit and a little bit more, and then climbing through the gears to get at the start of his lap. I can see, I think I saw Thomas getting out of the pit lane currently. Yes, he did. Oh, actually, he got disconnected, so hopefully he'll come back soon enough. I hope so, because, I mean, it would be very sad to lose him before the start of the race, of course. But as Catalan goes towards the first section of corners, the first sequence, let's say, let's see what he's able to do. Very wide on the exit. I'm pretty sure he went a little bit wide through the second half of the corner, but that's nothing too bad. I think he's gonna be able to do stuff. Okay, Thomas is back into the server, which is very nice. And as Catalan goes through the Villeneuve, we're gonna see how he actually tackles the Tosa. 32.6, the first sector. And he has a nice exit, a little bit of too much as reserve. Maybe it's not gonna help on the exit grip, but I'm very sure he's gonna be able to do very well here as well. Into this very fast left-hander. Actually, it's not purple anymore. I think probably there's another purple. I'm not sure who it is, but if I have to guess, probably it's gonna be Alex Maggio. But then going downhill, here braking after the 50s, then having a little bit of a gas to get as much speed as possible, then going very wide on the exit. I think that's not gonna help his exit here. And going towards the Variante Alta, he's gonna be able to nail the corner and get a very nice lap time out of this, or he's gonna be able to take the next corner. Second sector, sorry, is 111, sorry, it's 118. Thomas actually disconnected once again, not sure what's happening to him. Hopefully, once again, he's gonna be able to come back stronger and sooner, because, you know, now qualifying, everything is gonna get quite frantic. But as Catalan breaks with his left-hander and gets his purple sector taken away, he goes a little bit too wide. I'm not sure if the lap time is gonna stay valid after that one. But he's surely, and I mean surely, gonna start another lap quite soon. And we go back into the broadcast cam as he concludes his lap right now. And as he is extending, I think he's very likely gonna start another lap soon. It was valid at 2:13. No, actually it was not, it's 1:58. But we're gonna see soon. Let's see Falcon, 1:58.3. Then behind him, I think it's the number 14 of Alex Maggio, who is gonna end up in third place, actually, not the fastest lap time. Falcon, Lopter manages to beat them. Then Nezu, third place currently. And then we got Valiant getting third place. Then let's see Tits ends up in sixth place. And the guys behind, I think it was Ricciardo, which actually in seventh place right now. Then we got the other guys here forming up quite a nice little leaderboard. And a lot of these guys actually didn't manage to set lap time. We got also Iron Alex getting up into P9, and of course also the Castella Estrisia, which I forgot who it is, Adriet, sorry, who I think set a lap time of 1:58, so into third place. So actually an interesting trio for the first part of qualifying, which is Lopter, Falcon, and Adriet. Also in the meanwhile, we have a little bit of an information from the other side of the grid, which is the fact that Thomas' wheel stopped working. So once again, I hope he actually managed to get back in time, because otherwise he's going to have a little bit of trouble. He is back, so hopefully he's going to be able to take part in this qualifying session, although with a little bit less time than usual. And while we waited for that, I think I saw Catalan getting a yellow flag here, which is not a good sign, because that means that he probably got another track limit violation, which would end up with another invalidated lap time. And considering he's slowing down very much a lot for the last corner, I think he's just getting ready for another lap to start now. So Catalan currently struggling and leaving us with an interesting top 5. Meanwhile, Falcon, our driver, trying to get another lap time in, currently in second place. Let's see if he can actually beat Lopter pole position time of 57.1, which is a hell of a fast lap time. Let's see, Falcon 55, 56, 57, 57.6. Lopter actually in the pit lane, so he was not gonna improve. And who's the next one actually going through the section? It's Alex Maggio, 57.0, so he is fighting back and he wants that pole position and win, of course. Meanwhile, other people, Tits of course getting into P4, Falcon P3, Adriet P5, actually I think it's improving, no it's not improving. Valiant currently in P6, then we got Forever, P7, Nezu in P8, Ricciardo in P9, P10 for Catalan still, then Firestar, Matteo Catalan and Alex, actually I think someone got into the top 10. Darts got into P6 with a 59.5. Of course, frantic stuff here. Difficult to keep an eye on everything with 16 drivers on the grid. But we're gonna do our best, of course, on that. Many people also on the pit straight, let's say. I think Thomas is actually, yes, he's ready, and he's actually getting out to start his lap time. So with a little bit more than 7 minutes left to go, he has a little bit more pressure compared to other drivers, but I'm kind of curious to see how good he's gonna be able to pull out a lap time out of this one. Meanwhile, Catalan, who was leader, a little bit behind him. Let's see if he actually can stop and do a nice lap time. He didn't improve in the first 2 sectors, but maybe in the third one, keeping the lap time valid, he's gonna be able to start at least inside the top 10, which is gonna be probably a nice little goal. Meanwhile, Maggio into the pit lane as well, stopping probably to get ready for another stint, let's say for qualifying run. And while Catalan goes through the last sector, nicely inside the track limits, seems like, at least at first glance. Let's see if he can actually improve going into this last section. He's gonna set a lap time. If he is, it's gonna be a 58 point something. He does, and it's a P5 lap time. He's gonna probably now start another one to try and see if he can actually improve. Then I think I saw, who was that? P3 Falcon going through the last section, but he doesn't improve. Then behind him we have Tits, who has an improvement in the first sector. Then second sector is not an improvement, but let's see if overall he can actually improve his lap time and probably track position. He does, but not by a lot. So behind him, Valiant GB in 8th place, stays in 8th place, of course. Then we got Forever right behind, still staying there. I think behind them there's Darts, who is improving both sectors. Let's see if it's an improvement, and it is, because he goes ahead of Edred. Then Ricardo behind doesn't really improve, so does the people behind them, I think. P7 is Edred. He does improve, and he goes into P4. Amazing lap time from him. Then we have a look at Skilltech, which is the next driver to get across the line, although I don't see the sector time, so I think he's starting his lap time now. And starting his lap time now, he is likely. Yes, I think he is. And as he goes, I think we're going to go to Jason Short, who is also trying to get a lap time in, although it's not a very fast one at first glance. And it's not even valid, to be completely honest. And then we got Nezu right behind, finishing his lap time, but still with a 2:01.3. Then we go to Thomas is ready, who is actually finishing his lap time, very strict into the last corner. I don't think this is gonna be too much of a good lap time. I don't even think it's gonna be valid for going that wide, but we're gonna have to look and see if it is or not. And we have a valid lap time, and a hell of a lap time, because it's a P3 lap time of 57.6. Meanwhile, Lopter also gets out of the pit lane to try and fight back for the pole position. While in all of this, I ask myself, where is Alex Maggio? While Catalan takes back P3. And as I say that, well, there it is, Alex Maggio. Starting now his lap, and trying probably to improve his 57.0 to get away from everyone and ahead into the pole position he's trying to keep, let's say, for himself. Let's see from Catalan though, because he's very close to him, and very likely is gonna try to keep inside that second window, not to get a slipstream, but mainly to find out who is Maggio and who is he's driving, because if he's able to keep pace, then starting from either P3 or P2 may be more than enough for him to actually fight with him for a potential race win. So this is very crucial for him, and currently he's not improving the first sector, but he seems to be kinda close to him, although I think Alex got a little bit of a better exit, and he does a little bit of a cheeky maneuver, which is letting him pass. I mean, it's not really cheeky, likely it's just allowing him to race with clean track, which is something that gentlemen would do, but not here in MYASS. God fucking damn it. And as we take another sip of water, we see Catalan not improving the first sector, maybe improving the second. Let's have a look. Into the Variante Alta, braking very late. He has an improvement, but it's not really that impressive, to be completely honest. He goes wide, but I think that's valid. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is, because the green part still counts as track. And as he goes downhill, let's see if he has something in his bag. A cat, maybe. Or maybe a pole position lap time. I don't think it is. It's very difficult to find 2 more 10s, but nothing is stopping him from trying. So, into this last section, as Lopter completes his lap time. We haven't really looked at him. I don't even know if that lap time is valid. We're gonna find out soon. Lobter, I don't think he actually improved. Catalan, though, through the last corner, he improves and takes Lobter position, and he's getting hella close to pole position because that's a 57.0 versus another 57.0. We may have a fight for the lead between Catalan and Maggio, and that is the most exciting news I could have told you. Meanwhile, the Kurma autospot of Iron Alex getting through the last corners, followed by Firestar right behind. He goes through here, let's see if he improves. He goes into 14th place with a 2:04, and then Firestar behind doesn't get a valid lap time, so kinda difficult race right now for Alex. Meanwhile, Falcon, fastest sector 3, goes into P4, but still not enough to challenge for the top 3 right now. I would like to go to Alex Maggio because he does not improve, while instead, of course, we can see Lobter getting away and, of course, trying to get stuff away. And we get the 17th driver, I mean, very late into qualifying. I don't think he's going to be able to start the lap time, which is Musso. So Musso very likely going to start from the back of the of the grid into race 1. He is the last driver for this round, for now. I mean, it's very likely. Meanwhile, Thomas is ready. Sector 2 purple, so hold on a moment. Thomas is not out yet. He is fighting and chasing after Tits. Let's see if he can actually find something, because, man, this is getting quite close. Lobter, Catalan and Maggio all inside 1/10 for the top 3. Let's see if Thomas can actually make this a 4-way fight, and knowing him, he may as well be. He gets a very nice exit, not too wide, but that's okay because he gets the traction to be able to gain through the last section. Is it gonna be an improvement? Let's find out quite soon. 55, 56, 56 it is! But it's not valid! Sadly for him, he must have invalidated somewhere because this is not a valid lap time, so he stays in P5. Tits also got a fastest sector 3, but I think it is because he may have cut Variante Alta to get another lap time in, which would make sense, of course. And while Catalan sets another fastest sector, we got the first 56 of the session from Alex Maggio, 56.9, which, as we know, may be the absolute limit of lap time we may find. Although with this last 40 seconds of qualifying on, I wouldn't be too sure. I would like to have a look. Also, here we can see down below that Falcon, as Catalan actually gets apparently a faster sector, although I think it's a little bit bugged, we can see Falcon actually not getting a purple sector, but trying to start another lap time, which may be the reason we saw a purple sector. I think he actually cut the Variante Alta to do so. He's trying his best. He's trying his best, and he's fighting as well for the top 3, which is, as you can see, where the godly 3 stays. Also, we can see Thomas P5, Tits P6, Cedric P7. I think I saw someone climbing the order, but I'm not sure of whom. And as we wait for the end of qualifying, which happens to be right now, we wait to see if Catalan can actually improve, if he can actually get the pole position. It doesn't seem like, because he doesn't have the lap time below, which means I think that his lap time is not valid. So that would be a little bit anticlimactic, of course, but still very close to the lap time of Alex Maggio, and this means that this guy here may be one interesting challenger for the race win here in Imola. One to keep an eye on, of course. And as we wait for the end of qualifying, as we see people ending their lap time, we have Thomas is ready, finishing another lap. Not sure if it's valid or not, we're gonna find out soon. It is just enough to get into P4 and beat Falcon, and then we wait for Catalan right behind to get maybe a lap time in, not sure. It is! And it's a 56.6! Hold on a moment, is Alex gonna be able to replicate? He is not! And what a shock this is! The pole position does not go to Alex Maggio, it actually goes to Matteo Catalan, who decides to celebrate by getting some gravel into his car. So, incredible plot twist. We have a fight for the lead in our hand for this sprint race. And what a fight this is. What a fight this is, and this may be some actual competition for Alex Maggio, some actual competition for Catalan, and some people driving, I think that's 5-star, yep it is, and trying to get another lap time, of course, in for this last section of the track. We're gonna have the full grid soon, of course, as we wait for other people to finish their lap time, of course. For example, here Forever, currently P11, maybe just maybe able to get something. Not too sure. Let's see if it's an improvement. Yes, it is. Just about into P10 with a 59.7. What a competitive grid this is. And as we wait, with just Alex Maggio, who is still lapping, and I'm just wondering if he's actually trying to get another lap time in. Let's have a look on board, because he's a scary fellow. He's not, of course, you know, surrendering. He's still probably trying to get the pole position. I'm not sure if with all the time he's going to be able to catch the finish line in time. But if he's actually improving, then maybe, just maybe, we may be looking at the pole position lap, or maybe a fight for the pole position. But with the oversteer in the last corner, I think it's not gonna be it. And with Alex Maggio in the gravel, defeated for the first time in pure pace, we have the grid for race 1. With Matteo Cattelan in P1, followed by Alex Maggio, Lobter, Thomas is ready, Falcon, Tix, Adriad, Darts, Nezu, and Forever completing the top 10. Then we got Valiant, Firestar, Skilltech, Ricardo, Iron Alex, and E in the top 16. And then, in last place of course, Musu, who didn't really have the time to complete a lap time, so really no pressure on him. He's gonna have to build his race into race 1 and fight his way through the field. Then probably the race 2 is gonna be a little bit easier, because it's gonna start a little bit ahead compared to where it's gonna start now. I mean, it's a little bit hard to start lower than last, but who knows? Who knows how this is gonna be? Meanwhile, Firestar tells us, I blame my poor quali or not getting the Italian bluff on this track. This may be true, of course, we may not know. But, as we wait for the start of the race, and we hear someone actually revving his engine, not sure who it is. Oh wait, actually, I think it's not starting the end of the race, because technically I'm not in the pit lane since I'm showing you the stuff. We have the grid, and we are ready for, of course, the first 30 minutes race of this round. And oh boy, what a race this can be. Actually, I can see that also Jason Shaw didn't manage to get a lap time in. He got a no lap time signed on the leaderboard, and so did Musu. So yeah, 2 drivers who did not manage to get a lap time in, and I can see that E on the chat is not really too happy about what happened in qualifying. But you know, it's still early, and here in MYASS we're gonna be able to see probably a very nice fight back from everyone in the first race. Taking another sip, of course. And 35 seconds till the beginning of race 1. Who's gonna be able to win? I'm not too sure at this point. Alex and Catalan, they both are very close on pace, although 3/10 may seem a lot. You know, qualifying pace and race pace are 2 different beasts, so I'm not too sure if they're gonna be like this during the race as well. But there's only one way to find out, and thankfully, we are here just to find out together. So, 3 seconds till the grid lineup starts to form. And there we go, time is up, and with 1 minute left to go, we go, well, back into the pit lane, because we don't really have to race here. And we wait for the start of the race. Catalan versus Alex versus Lobter versus Thomas versus Falcon versus Titz versus Adriat. A very nice qualifying also, P7 versus Darts, Nezu and Forever. Everyone has something to prove. Nezu wants to prove that he's worth it, that he can actually get points. I think that he didn't really have the way to prove during the last time out. Darts wants to fight for the points as well. Adriat wants to prove that a rookie can actually fight and have hands. Titz wants to show that, of course, the carbonara may be a better dish compared to the to the other stuff that he's eating. But as we wait and see actually a very strange last part of the track, we get 5 red lights, actually 4 here. And the third round on MYASS is go! Very nice start from Catalan, closing instantly the door on, of course, Alex Maggio, who is trying to find a way maybe into the braking zone of turn 1. Everyone behind packing up and trying to find a way into the first corner. Let's see if it's gonna be a clean turn 1. I think it is. Catalan goes a little bit too wide, and oh my god, that's a little bit too wide, and that's a complete disaster for Catalan. What a terrible start for him. And in all of this, Lobter somehow managed to get into P1. Meanwhile, Dart's behind. I can see him getting a little bit too wide, and of course Firestar manages to get a little bit into P9, taking advantage of this whole situation. But now we have a very interesting top 3. We have Lobter, we have Nezu going wide into the Villeneuve chicane, actually going a little bit, not wide, but the exact opposite, of course. But in the current situation, we have Lobter, Alex Maggio in 2nd place, then Tiz in P3, then Thomas in 4th, and 5th place it's Falcon, followed by Forever, Adred and Tiz, Firestar, and of course Skilltech fighting currently with Darts going into the fast left-hander here. I think he's gonna have the line, and Darts is not gonna challenge too much into this place here. Also, I think I saw a battle between Ricciardo and Jason Short, and what a disaster of a start from Catalan, starting from pole position and getting into basically last place almost. Let's not find out that soon, and we can see Alex Maggio going a little bit wide, and I think so Thomas is ready, losing a place from Tits and dropping down into 4th place. So now Tits is into 3rd place and challenging actually Alex Maggio. So 2 people who actually fought very hard into race 2 of the first round, fighting and getting Alex into the inside. This is not gonna end well. They're gonna go 3 wide into the last corner. Falcon is licking his lips, looking at this situation, trying to find a way, or maybe a mistake to take advantage of to get into that podium position. But as they break, they are gonna be very smart and very wise, and we get a little bit of contact, but nothing too bad. And thankfully, Tits is able to stay into P4 while Thomas climbs into P3. All the while, Lobter runs away as fast as possible from this very fast driver right behind. Meanwhile, behind, I think I just saw Catalan climbing up into P14. This is gonna be a very hard race for him, at least into race 1. And as Thomas sets currently the temporary fast lap, we can see Tits right behind, trying to have a look outside, and then down the inside and onto the braking point. He's gonna try to have a look and try to dive in, but it's not gonna work because he closes the door and stays into P3. There's a yellow flag behind. I'm not too sure who it is. I don't think, therefore I am not. I'm not too sure of who went wide, but that's not important. We can see right now Valiant fighting with, of course, our friend here, Catalan, who dives down the inside, and now he's gonna try to have a look, and this doesn't end well. This is the 2nd spin for Catalan, and probably signs the end for his challenge for mainly some higher places. Likely the podium is gone, but not the points, so we're gonna have a look at him later. Actually, we can have a look at him like this, although I don't think we're gonna see something too interesting for the time being. And as he overtakes quite easily Valiant into the exit of Tosa, we go back into the fight for P3, because while Lobter is running away from Maggio and gaining a 2nd advantage, we can see Falcon trying to chase, of course, Tits, and trying to find a way through, but not being able to do so right now. So, currently the leaderboard into the 2nd lap and likely going into the 3rd lap is Lobter, followed by Alex Maggio, then Thomas is ready, Tits, Falcon, Forever, Firestar, Skilltech, and Darts, which is kind of fighting Nezu at the moment, completing the top 10. Then we got, of course, everyone else, starting from, I think that is Alex, that's Alex, that's Jason Short, of course, then followed by Edward, Ricardo, Iron Alex, Catalan, and then Valiant GB in 16th place. And of course, last place, I'm not sure who it is, but we're gonna find out soon. In the leaderboard is Musu01, who is kind of struggling with the pace. Anyway, let's go back with Forever, actually being chased by Firestar, but also in the top 10, because Lobter, he's trying to run away, but of course Alex is not letting him go. So, getting closer, trying to get as close as possible, and probably fighting for the lead. Alex is not dead just yet. This slight moment of glory is not over, and he's gonna fight his way through. Let's have a look at Firestar versus Forever in the background, and let's keep that in the left-hand side view, while everyone goes very wide into the exit, of course, of Villeneuve. We can see Alex trying to set up the exit of Tosa, maybe trying to find a way to challenge Lobter's lead. Lobter trying to stay on the left-hand side, but still there's no need to defend because our friend here is not close enough. Meanwhile, I think Firestar managed to overtake Forever. Yes, I think it did. So let's close that thing on the left-hand side. But as, of course, Alex is trying to find a way through, let's go on board with him with the chase for the lead as he tries to find a way through Acqua Minerale to find some pace. They go very wide, very on the limit, but that should be valid because their green part, once again, is part of the track. And towards the heavy braking point of this Variante Alta, very wide from Lobter. I think this is gonna be his occasion to try and overtake, and easy inside the track limits, just about. He's gonna try and have a look, but there's a little bit of contact, and Thomas is actually having a look, and probably is gonna join this fight quite soon, because as Lobter manages to keep into P1, although with a little bit of a dirty tactic, Thomas tries to dive down the inside of Alex, but doesn't manage to actually take the position. So all three of them going into this main straight, all very close together. This is very intense, very interesting. And behind them there's of course Tits, and I think I saw Firestar going wide, yes, and now he has to try and get the overtake done on Forever once again. But back again into the top three, because these three are getting everything out of the way to try and do something into this position. And I think, oh man, is Thomas actually trying a maneuver into turn 1? I think he's gonna do that, but it's not gonna work currently. And onto the exit of the complex of turn 1, 2 and 3, they're gonna stay very close. And with Alex, I think he's trying to warm up his tires, getting as much grip as possible. He's gonna turn into Villeneuve and try to find a way to follow after Lobter. So let's get maybe the onboard camera from Lobter with the rear view and see where Alex is actually faster. I think the exit of this corner is where he is actually very, very strong and is able to make a lot of a difference here. Meanwhile, also, let's have a look at Skilltech, who just overtook Nezu. We just kind of watched that on the left-hand side. I think Nezu went wide on the Villeneuve chicane, but that's okay. It's a very easy mistake to make. And as Lobter goes very wide, Alex may maybe take a little bit of advantage into Acqua Minerali and maybe try and attack. I'm a little bit afraid, because this, although it doesn't really look like so, as they get a little bit, you know, of an exit extra, let's say, from the track limits. Let's say that this is not the place where you want to see an overtake into Acqua Minerali. And into the Variante Alta, they are very close, and that's the maneuver for the lead. It's gonna be wide, and it's gonna be, well, ahead, although I think a little bit worrisome as a maneuver. In the meanwhile, I think it's the same way. Thomas is ready. He's gonna try to make this a 3-wide situation, and going into the braking for this last corner, he's gonna brake earlier, but not early enough for for Lobter, who goes a little bit too wide. In the meanwhile, Falcon versus Tits. Falcon manages to get the position on Tits, and they are both getting into this position. But in the meanwhile, Thomas manages to get into pole position and is now leading the race. So, in the sequence of one corner, we got a new leader, which is not Alex Maggio, and is the guy who was in 3rd place. And now the battle for P3 getting open because of Falcon getting the maneuver into Tits completed. So now the top 5 all fighting for the win with just 21 minutes left to go. And with Thomas getting a little bit too wide into turn 1, I think Alex is gonna have a little very nice run on him going toward Villeneuve. I think Thomas knows this and goes defensive. Let's see if Alex can actually manage to do it. He has a look, but decides it's better not to try that. And with a very nice drift on the exit and a very wide exit from Lobter, we have actually Alex trying to have a little bit of a dive on the inside. And thankfully, Thomas survives this without defending. But this is gonna get very difficult, because now Alex is gonna try everything to get through. Absolutely everything. And now he doesn't have the inside into this left-hander. That's gonna be quite difficult, of course, and into this left-hander, he's gonna be able to complete the maneuver out the outside. I think he is. Alex, I think he's ahead. Yes, he takes the lead. He takes the lead for the first time into this race, and now he's gonna try and run away with what was impressively a nice maneuver, and he goes very wide into this section of Acqua Minerali, and I think he lost the exit of the corner, and Thomas goes through once again into the braking point. He gets ahead, and now back into the lead. He's gonna try and fight with all his might for this possible maiden race win into MYASS. Oh man, what a race this is turning out to be. And as Thomas is running away, as Alex is keeping pace with him, as Lobter is trying his best to catch back to these two, and Falcon and Tits are still fighting, we have also the rest of the grid, which we are ignoring a little bit. And we have Catalan, who just got into the top 10 and now is chasing after Skilltech to try and get some points in this race. We're gonna keep an eye on him on the left-hand side, of course, while we keep our concentration on the race up for the lead, because, of course, we have Alex versus Thomas, which is one fight we were foretold in the last round, and now that it's actually happened, is living up to the hype we were getting, and now as Thomas gets a little bit too wide into the first corner, Alex is gonna try to get side by side towards Villeneuve. I think he's gonna be able to break later. Yes, he is, and he is ahead before the end, or actually the start of Villeneuve chicane. But he loses the rear a little bit, and maybe into those I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of a maneuver. Well, of course, there's also Catalan fighting Skiltech and getting a little bit too wide and crashing out, so in the middle one. Let's not concentrate on that, because they are gonna go side by side once again. And once again, Thomas is able to get back into the lead. In all of this, be aware, because Lopter, he is not letting this one slide, and he's getting close. Also, I think I lost it. Why is Dietz and Falcon too far away? I think I lost the maneuver that happened here between these two, because Dietz managed to get into P4, but now they are very separated from this top 3 trio. So sorry if I lost that, of course, but now as the battle gets heated up, 18 minutes left to go, and I generally don't know who's gonna be able to win this one, because these 3 are on a league of their own. And it's a little bit of a shame that actually Catalan is having this kind of race, because we know how fast he can be, and we know that he can be able to fight for this kind of position. Meanwhile, we can see on board from the helmet cam of Alex Maggio trying to find maybe a breaking point in the last corner, fighting for the lead versus Thomas is ready, who is certainly ready for this battle. We can see them fight. Then also we have Darts and 5-star fighting for, of course, P6, which is something that Virus is actually hyping up in the comment section. But into the start-finish straight, we have both of them side by side. And it's gonna be a fight onto the brakes for turn 1 once again. Who is gonna be able to actually brake earlier? Oh, very on the limit for Alex Maggio. Is it gonna be enough to challenge? I think not, because there's not enough space there to try and maneuver around outside. And onto the exit, going towards Villeneuve chicane. Is he gonna be able to maybe challenge? I don't think so. This is gonna grow a little bit frustrating, of course, for our friend here, Alex Maggio, but not enough to justify an excessive maneuver. And as he gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit of Villeneuve, he's gonna be maybe diving down the inside here. No, he's not. He's trying to set up maybe an exit, but still, with this battle getting this close, with 17 minutes left to go, everything is possible here in MYASS. And as we can see, Thomas getting wide. I think we're gonna have a battle into Acque Minerali, and this may end awry. Thankfully, Thomas decides not to challenge into the first breaking point, but he challenges into the second one, which does not end too well. And now Alex is officially into the lead, with Lopter right behind, trying to find a way through, maybe challenging into the breaking point. He is, but I think he overtakes a little bit too hard, and with the breaking point missed, he stays in P3. Now Thomas still in P2, trying to fight back, and Tits and Falcon fighting for P4. We can see just now Falcon getting into P4, with Tits, of course, losing the place, but still fighting back to try and maybe challenge back into P4. So while these two are having this little nice duel, with Falcon getting wide, so probably not a never-ending duel really, we move back into the battle for the lead from the onboard of Thomas, who's gonna be trying his absolute best to challenge after Alex Maggio. All the while, of course, 5-star Forever and Darts are fighting in the lower position in P6, 7 and 8. And in all this, of course, we also have Catalan, who is probably fighting back somewhere on the grid, although I'm not really sure of where. So, with Tits versus Falcon kinda here, we move back to Thomas for the fight of the lead, and keep, of course, the onboard on Falcon to see what's gonna happen. I'm out of water, by the way, so if my throat gets a little bit, you know, dry, you know why. And, well, everyone goes wide into the Villeneuve chicane, and I think Alex is starting just now to extend this gap, so maybe this is gonna get a little bit ugly or a little bit too difficult for Thomas to keep up the pace. But still, 15 minutes of racing, which were very nice. We cannot thank them enough for this valiant effort, but still the race is long. 15 minutes are a lot, and all can happen. A little mistake can challenge the sorts of the race still. And I'm very curious to see if Thomas is gonna be able to fight back, or just be happy for a Pichu as he gets wide once again into the exit of Acque Minerali. While this happens, let's move back to Falcon versus Tits. Actually on board with Falcon, because he is close indeed to Tits. And into Variante Alta, he brakes, takes the curb, doesn't destabilize the car too much, and now, although he doesn't get the exit, he is trying his best to try and fight back and maybe get the position on Tits. Thomas just 1 second behind Alex, struggling of course to keep up pace, but still doing his absolute best. And I think I saw a crash. Yes, we got Skill Tech crashing out and Nessie getting into P10. Not sure of what happened here. Probably Catalan going for a lot of aggressive maneuver. Not really too sure. But let's not concentrate on that too much right now. We have Falcon versus States, of course, for P4. And while controversy is happening, we still have fighting, and a lot of fighting left going towards the end of this race. While Falcon tries to get close to Tiziano, we have Lopter instead getting very close to our friend Thomas. Let's see if Lopter is able to find a way through. I think he got a better exit here, and this may be the chance he was waiting for. While in the meanwhile I can see both of the other two drivers getting a little bit wide on the exit, and as Lopter tries to find a way through, we can see Alex running away as fast as possible. Catalan, we go on board with him on the left hand side, having a lot of struggling into this track, trying to overtake the Coma and absolutely destroying it. So yeah, not a very nice race actually. I'm gonna be respectful and not show that onto the stream, because that would be a little bit disrespectful. Let's go back into the fight for P2 with Thomas versus Lopter, which is a little bit kinda looking like the fight we had last round, although this time it hasn't been an hour of racing, it's just been less than 30 minutes, and these two are fighting, and fighting indeed. Let's see if maybe Lopter is able to find a way through into this next sequence of corners. Next to left-handers, he's gonna be able to brake harder, faster, maybe better than Thomas. Thomas has a little bit of a steer moment, let's say, but it doesn't seem to be harming him too much, and thus Lopter is able to stay there. Also, I think, and I'm sorry for this, I think I missed the overtake from Falcon on Tits. So Tits falls down to P5 and Falcon up to P4, and all of two of them are still chasing after the podium position up ahead, which is a fight which may or may not still produce some interesting fighting. So while we say Tits trying to find a way through on Falcon, actually trying to stay close to him, I think he's actually managing to do that quite well. We see Lopter losing a little bit of touch from Thomas and falling a little bit down, although Thomas made a mistake into the Villeneuve chicane, and now he's getting closer to Lopter once again. And in the meanwhile, Tits tried to do a little bit of a dive maneuver onto Falcon, but thankfully, just thankfully, it doesn't tap into terrorism. So back into Thomas is ready, and let's see if we can if we can actually defend this position. Alpha, I am mad that you didn't finish the combo harder, faster, better. You know, I'm just a human after all, so I can make these kind of mistakes. That being said though, two interesting battles, and I'm gonna have a look at Tits on the left hand side while we have a look at Lopter here. Is he gonna try a maneuver, maybe into this breaking point? He is close, but I'm not sure he's gonna be trying this just well. Very close on the limit, but thankfully, just thankfully, they are doing just fine. Also, I'm not sure if Tits, Falcon are getting close to this duel or not. Surely the leader of the race, which is Alex of course, is running away, and with 10 minutes left to go, I think he may be booking this one out. And as we see Lopter struggling to get through this last section of corners, we go back to Tits, chasing after Falcon for P4. Also, let's have a look at the rest of the grid, of course, because we haven't seen a lot of them. We have, well, I cannot see our friend, you know, how's it's called, Catalan, who is actually in P17. So, yeah, disastrous race. His only saving grace is that if he finishes like this, he's gonna start on pole position for the next race. But that being said, yeah, the rest of the grid is kinda spread out, so the main two fights that are happening are here in the right places, which are of course the fight for P2 and the fight for P4 between Falcon and Tits. And while of course Lobter goes a little bit wide, we can see Tits having a little bit of oversteer maneuver on the exit of Villeneuve and not being able to stay close enough to challenge our friend here, Falcon. All the while Lobter had a little bit of an excessive exit on Villeneuve and is not able to challenge Thomas in this next part of the race. Why is Catalan last? I have no clue, but if I have to guess, all the mistakes, all the sins he has gained throughout his entire race ended up costing him his ultimate prize, which is his life. Now, into Acqua Minerale, both of them going through, braking hard into this section, and as, of course, Falcon goes a little bit too wide on the exit, we go on board with Tits as he tries to find a way through. Damages is off Virus, so I don't think it's damage. I think it's just the case for all the things that happened right up until now. And Tits doesn't get a very good exit out of the corners, so he's not able to chase after Falcon as well as he may have liked. So I think with 8 minutes left to go, he's gonna keep the pressure up, of course, but he's gonna probably not try anything too aggressive in this next part of the race. So things have settled down in race 1 for the time being. We have Alex Maggio with a 56.2, one hell of a lap time if you ask me, racing and running away from Thomas, Lobter, Falcon, Tits, and then a wholly 12 or maybe more seconds from Firestar, who is running away alone from Darts, and a little bit far away, Forever, who is currently in 8th place. Then, completing the top 10, we have Jason Schott, making a little quiet, but of course nice race in P9, and Nezu, who is fighting currently for his first points with the ever so present Valiant JB, who may or may not be the challenger. Shame instead for Edred, which had a very nice starting position in qualifying, but is turning a little bit off in race pace conditions. So sad situation, but I think maybe he's able to fight back, or maybe he's gonna be able to have a nice race too. I hope so for him, of course. Anyway, as this battle goes on, as we see Edred actually fighting Rick into turn 1, maybe with a little bit of contact. Yes, there is, but nothing too bad, thankfully. They both go safely through turn 1 and into the chase for the points from here on. Let's have a look at Catalan in the meanwhile. He's, well, running, surely. I would say running away, but not really. He's probably using this situation to gain a little bit of knowledge of the track, trying to find the right braking spots and what's not, and maybe using that knowledge for the next part of the race. Back to Nezu, because the fight for P10 is on, and as you can see before, behind there's also the fight between Ricciardo and Adriet. But Nezu trying his best. Actually, let's move away from Nezu because I can see Lobter getting closer for the battle for P2. We're gonna keep an eye on the left, of course, for this. Let's keep an eye, of course, on Nezu because he's fighting for his first points in this championship. Although 1 point may not seem like a lot, trust me, it is all about honor here. And as he doesn't get a really good exit out of the corner, he's probably gonna be fighting for this one into the breaking point of this one here. Both very wide, and ooh, there's a little bit of a corner cut, but thankfully it doesn't end up with an overtake. And as Rick instead goes very wide and likely not into the track limits, he decides not to continue his maneuver on Adriet, for the time being at least. And so, as for some reason Firestar is here in the chat, not sure how. Firestar, you are actually driving, why are you in the chat? Has Firestar somehow writes us in the chat while driving, we go back to Lobter because he's pulling back some pressure into our friend, of course, here, which is Thomas is ready. In the meanwhile, Valiant GB versus, of course, Nezu. We're gonna have a look at that on the left-hand side because that could be a maneuver into turn 1. Actually, let's concentrate on that because this is a battle for 1 point, which may seem like nothing, but trust me, it's everything for some of them, and there's a little bit of contact, but thankfully, the maneuver ends without too much drama. And Valiant gets into P10 while fighting with Nezu. All the while, Adriet, behind, overtakes and stays ahead of Ricciardo for the time being. Back to Lobter, trying once again to chase Actually, let's go for the all-on-board camera for once. Here we are. As he goes a little bit wide, but I'm pretty sure that's still inside the track limits. He's trying to find a way to fight Thomas is ready, which is not gonna be easy, of course. But Thomas, all the time, is able to find traction, find grip, find a way to fight and get ahead. And for this exact reason, he is currently P2 and fighting with all his life for P2, while Lopter is keeping the pressure up, making me know that one mistake is gonna be fatal for him if he doesn't, you know, keep his eyes on the track. In the meanwhile, I lost this, but I think Valiant lost the position to Nezu, so I'm not gonna lose this again. I'm gonna keep the on-board to Valiant on the left-hand side for the time being. And while that happens, let's see if Lopter is able to chase after Nezu. Nezu goes wide. Actually, no, wait a fucking minute. What I'm saying, this is not Nezu versus Lopter. This is actually Lopter getting into P2, because as I said before, Thomas actually made a mistake. And now he has fallen down into P3 and is now chasing after, of course, Falcon. Meanwhile, there's Valiant versus Nezu in the left-hand side. And as you can see, there's the battle for 1 point is raging on as hard as possible. And as hard as one could possibly imagine. Let's do like this. Let's go on board with Falcon and go back to Nezu. Because he is fighting. And hell of a lot he's fighting. Trying to keep that position. And all the while, Adred is getting closer and he wants that point as well. 3 minutes left to go. Which should be, technically, just about 2 laps. So, while we wait, while we take a look at this, and we see Nezu, and of course Valiant fighting for the points, we see also Adrian getting closer, and trying his absolute best to get possibly into a position to fight for this ever so important position, while instead Ricciardo behind is losing a little bit of ground, but is still in this fight for a point. Falcon, in the meanwhile, seems not to be able to gain a little bit of time on Thomas. Well, Thomas is still chasing after Lopter, and I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to beat him in race pace, especially with 2 minutes left to go. But we're gonna stay on board, of course, with him, just to be sure, and have a look at what he's gonna be able to do in this final part of the race. Meanwhile, Nezu fighting with all his might, drifting through the exit of Acqua Minerale, now getting vulnerable for an attack to Valiant, who actually manages to get side by side into the braking point and maybe ahead before the braking. Let's see who's gonna be ahead at the exit of the corner. There's a little bit of contact, but thankfully no harm done. And Valiant manages to get into P10. All the while, Adred, now here, trying to have a look, trying to get into this fight as well, trying to get and you know, steal that point away from these 2 drivers. And into the braking point, he is able to get ahead, but maybe a little bit too deep into the braking. He's gonna be able to stay ahead. Nezu doesn't think so. Gets a little bit of a wheel-to-wheel battle, and he is able to go wheel-to-wheel into the main finish straight. All the while, we can see also Rick trying to have a look. In all of this, there's also Jason Short versus Forever, with Jason actually overtaking Forever. Sorry if I'm missing this, but there's a lot of fighting going on this track at the same time. And while there's this 3-way fight going on with Nezu fighting and trying his absolute best to get into P11 at least, Adred isn't really convinced, corrects his car on the exit of the turn 1 and manages to get somehow back into the chase for the points. Meanwhile, with 50 seconds left to go, we go back for the battle for P2 and maybe get some onboard on Nezu on the left hand side. Actually, let's go with Forever, because he's currently fighting with Jason Shaw, like currently they are side by side. While that happens, I think it's good to remind us that this next one is very likely gonna be the last lap of the race, while Alex is very likely gonna lap. I think it's Catalan. I'm not sure if that's the lapped car or not. But as we go into the last lap, the fight is still on. Thomas is still fighting for this incredible P2, and Forever is fighting for P8 against Jason Short. Let's see, actually, if Thomas is going to be able to find some magic into this last lap. He's going to probably be pushing 100, actually 200%, as the clock counts to 0. The fight is still on for P2, and Thomas is not letting Lopter run away. Is he gonna try it into Villeneuve? I don't think so. He has a look, but decides not to try anything silly. Into the exit, it goes a little bit too wide. Maybe a little bit too wide. I think that if Falcon didn't go too wide as well, he may had a nice chance, but I think this spells the end of Thomas' charge for the lead, or actually for the P2. Meanwhile, the fight between Forever and, of course, our friend here, Jason, still going on, but I don't think it's gonna start to get intense into the next heavy braking point. And while we wait for this, let's have a look maybe at Nezu, who is still fighting in this pack for P11, while P10 with Valiant GB is running away as the final lap starts with them, of course. But Valiant trying to run away, maybe does a little bit of a mistake, but so does Nezu, and doesn't instead with Adrian, and so the three of them getting into position for a fight, of course, which is gonna be 3 wide. And oh, look at that! Valiant decides to actually go away for some reason to that position. Not sure why he decides not to do that. And while that happens, while Nezu gets into P10 for this last position, we're gonna let them both go for Alex Maggio as he takes the win into this round, and Rick manages to get into P11 in the meanwhile. So Alex Maggio, I'm gonna confirm this is right now and right here, as he goes through the start-finish straight, wins the race. Then 40 seconds behind, actually wait a fucking minute, we got for Thomas getting very close to Lobter, but Lobter manages to hold on, so finishes in P2. So we got Lobter in P2, then P3 for Thomas, Falcon finishes in P4, then P5 for Tits. And then, as we wait, I think it's good to have a look here, because as Forever and E are fighting, we also have Adrian and everyone else fighting, and yeah, there's a lot of chaos here. We move to Forever versus E, and I think Jason Short is gonna be able to actually gain and stay there where it is. And so, as we wait, it was Musu there, lapped Cal, by the way. We can see everyone finishing his race, and oh, actually, let's move back to this, because Adrian is gonna find a way through on Rick on the end of the race. And so, as they go towards the last 2 corner, we can see Adrian managing to get into P12. Nezu sadly not able, actually no, what the hell am I saying? Nezu able to hold on miraculously into P10. And while this happened, I actually have to wonder what happened to Valiant GB, because he was fighting with them and now he is nowhere. I wonder, did he finish the fuel? I think he did. I think he's out of fuel. I think... Wait, let's go on board. He's out of fuel. Valiant finished the fuel. That's the reason he's not able to reach the finish. Oh man. Is Kurma gonna help him to get into the end of the race? I think they are. I think, yeah, there it is. Some actual teamwork between teammates. And so as Valiant replicates the ending of Cars 1, we have the finishing goal of race 1, which is Maggio, Lobter and Thomas in the top 3, then Falcon, Tits, Firestar, Darts, Jason Short, Forever and Nezu in the top 10, then Adrian, Ricardo, and I'm waiting of course for the leaderboard to show me who else is there. Actually, let me have a look. Ricardo, Skilltech in the top 13, then Valiant, Iron and Musu in the top 16. Well, a funny ending of course for the race of Valiant. A little bit sad because it was fighting for one singular point, but sadly it was not meant to be. And in all of this, Nezu manages to get his first point in this championship. All very nice, of course, but we have to wait now for the start of race 2, which I remind you, of course, is gonna be with reverse grid. And as you know, with reverse grid, shit happens. So, with this incredible ending out of the way, and with my water actually finished, so I'm not gonna be able to drink more water for the next race, of course, we wait 30 or some more seconds for the start, or what's gonna be probably a chaotic, very chaotic second race. Let's take a break. Let's take a breath. Let's all stay together happily here and wait for this jolly second race, which is surely gonna end up in nice fashion. Also, I wonder if, you know, if our friend Catalan, who ended up in last place, actually I think he retired at some point. No, actually ended up lapped. He didn't retire. I wonder if he's gonna be able to do something. Anyway, into second race, and as I go, of course, into the pit lane, the grid is not what what I expected, because we have actually, you know, Iron Alex starting in P1, then Ricciardo in P2, Valiant in P3, Skilltech, Adrian, Tits, Nezu, Falcon, Forever, Jason Short, then Darts, Firestar, Thomas, Musu, Lobter, Alex Maggio, and I think because he got either lapped or because he didn't finish the race, but I think lapped, our friend Catalan is not gonna start on pole from this race. So this was already a difficult race 1, and I think this is gonna be a very more difficult race 2. But it doesn't matter, with Ricciardo in P1, somehow, we wait for the 5 red lights. Actually, it's not Ricciardo, my bad, but doesn't matter. And as the light goes out, we watch the start of the race with Valiant leading the race and getting towards turn 1 in pole position, while all the while behind there's a lot of a traffic jam, which hopefully doesn't end up with a catastrophic crash into lap 1. They're telling me it's the qualifying grid, which would make absolute sense, and I've heard a little bit of a crash behind. It's not a little bit of a crash, it's a complete disaster, because Forever and Thomas is ready, both got crashed into turn 1. So with all of this happening, we got Catalan fighting back, Falcon trying to get through Jason Short, and all the while, ahead, the battle for the lead, we have Skilltech, followed by, of course, Adrian, then Tits, then Ricciardo, then Valiant GP, and then, of course, all the other guys behind trying to find a way through into this chaotic first lap, trying to get somewhere through, and as Ricciardo has a little bit of a chaotic crash between Jason Short and him, we go towards the next corner, because nothing has happened really. Everything is fine, everything is absolutely fine, and Valiant trying to get through, and as we see the number 17, which I'm not sure it should be Iron Alex, getting out of the pit lane, so I think he's gonna start very well back behind in this second race. We see everyone going towards the Variante Alta, with Skilltech still leading, and Tits in second place, who managed to do a very nice comeback in the start of this race too. And as Skilltech tries to stay as, you know, easy as possible and inside the track limits, we can see a fight between Valiant and Falcon, and also Alex Macho getting into a 3-wide situation here, all the while a fight for the lead between Tits and Skilltech happens, which we're gonna look on the left hand side. While this fight happens here, Tits breaks earlier, Skilltech goes very wide, Tits also goes very wide. There's a lot of contact here between all the guys who are fighting for podium. Skilltech trying to rejoin and getting to position, and while literally NASCAR is happening, we can see Catalan dying and getting a little bit of contact with Darts, and as Catalan tries to get into position, which is not something we're gonna take a look at because I think it's gonna end up quite badly, we can see Adrian leading the race, followed by Tits, Alex Maggio, Valiant, and then a battle between Nezu and Falcon for P5. What a start of the race, and what a chaotic start. Oh man, chaotic, but as expected really for a race 2 situation. All the while, Adrian leading the race, followed by Tits, Alex Maggio, and then of course Valiant. We wonder who's gonna be able to survive this lap as well, because I feel like Tits probably has a little bit more pace compared to Adrian, or at least a little bit more experience, and that shows because on the exit he gets a little bit more aggressive, and onto the brakes. Is he gonna be able to overtake him? He's gonna try. Adrian loses the rear end of the car, but manages not to make this a catastrophic situation, and Alex has to take a avoiding action and stay into that position. Meanwhile, Nezu getting a little bit onto the grass and getting a little bit of a, you know, look, or at least conceding a peek to Falcon, who decides to take the situation to try and overtake him around the inside of this left-hand hander, and all the while Catalan decides that it's time for him to retire, sadly, so not the best race for him, but that's understandable considering that he said that he hates this track. And as everyone goes wide, and we see Adrian losing the place also to Valiant, everyone is still here, everyone is overtaking, everyone is fighting back, and we can see that the fight for whatever really at this point, I think it's the podium, is very much on, and somehow, somewhat, Thomas, who spun out at the first lap, is here, and not that far away from the battle for the lead. So what the hell, how did he manage to do this? I'm not sure, but as we see Adrian, Falcon, and also Lobter fighting for something, everyone is trying to get away and through Adrian, who sadly is trying his best to defend the position, but it's like looking, I don't know, a guy trying to fight back against all odds and everything else, really. The kind of male fantasy you can't expect from a man dying in his deathbed. We can see the fight still raging on with Lobder, and of course Thomas is ready, still fighting since race 1 and still fighting for something, with Thomas getting a little bit too wide and dying off, while of course Lobder goes through and Nezu manages somehow to get towards the chaos, and while racing through the fire and the flames he manages to get into an amazing P6. All the while everyone is running away, and we instead in the lead may have another certified classic between Tits and Alex, although for 25 minutes I think this is gonna be a little more chaotic than last time. So while Thomas overtakes Nezu on the Tosa, we look at Alex Maggio fighting with Tits, trying to find a way through. All the while a fight for, you know, all the other places is happening right behind them, with Valiant still in P3, Falcon right behind him, and also Thomas now running away from everyone else. And also there's Nezu versus Darts, which we're gonna have a look on the left hand side into Macco Minerali, which has both of them going, you know, very respectfully against each other. And now towards the breaking point we are seeing within the leaders, which is of course the Variante Alta. And as Darts seems to be able to defend the position, we keep an eye, of course, on the battle for the lead, because I think Alex Maggio is gonna try and find a way through here. Is gonna try and dive down the inside? No, he's not. He's gonna try probably and set up an exit to maybe try and overtake maneuver into turn 1. And so as they go through, as they fight once again for the lead, we also see Valiant and Falcon behind fighting, and also at the same time we also have a fight between the Thomas is ready and Adrian. So 3 different fights. And we have a look, of course, at the most important of them all, which at this point is the battle for the lead. All the while Falcon sets the purple last time while chasing after Valiant. And we have a look at Alex Maggio trying around the outside of turn 1, trying to maybe set up the exit, going towards the next corner, which is of course the Villeneuve chicane. And I think I've heard a crash behind, I'm not sure. I haven't seen some yellow flags, but let's ignore that for the time being. And as Tits tries to defend from Alex, Alex dies down the inside, and I think that's a very clean and nice maneuver that gives the lead to Alex Maggio into this, I think, 3rd lap of the race. And oh, that's big contact, and you know, a little bit dirty here, but that's okay. That's okay. As Tits tries now to get a little bit better traction and maybe fight back on Alex, is he gonna be able to maybe try something into this left-hander? I don't think so. No, he loses a little bit of the rear, but he's still able to chase close, and as Alex goes a little bit wide, he's gonna be trying down the inside, which is gonna be the outside of the next section, of course, of the Acqua Minerali. He's gonna be able to stay inside the track. Yes, he is. What a ballsy maneuver from Tits. He's able to keep the track position and fight for the lead, but of course, Alex, he's not letting this one slide, and he fights back, and now side by side towards the breaking point of Variante Alta. Is Tits gonna be able to stay ahead? I think he is. I think he is, and he is able indeed to stay here. But of course the exit goes to Alex Maggio, and on the exit he is able to fight back and get back into the lead. Is Tits gonna be able to actually fight back and maybe try a maneuver, try a heavy braking zone into this last section? He tries, but decides it's more, you know, wise to avoid crashing out into the person you are fighting, so decide to stay there. All the while Falcon still fighting, of course, with the guys ahead, and manages finally to overtake Valiant. We see that in the background as well. And all the while, somehow, not sure how, Darts is into P5 and managed to overtake Lobter, who actually we can see Skilltech going wide and dropping back to P9, so sad moment for him. And as Tits is struggling now to keep up pace with Alex Maggio, and as we see, he's really running away at this point. We see Valiant trying to get close to Falcon, but he clearly does not take T1 very well, and he drops back. And as, of course, Tits is starting to drop back, we have a look at Valiant, because he's starting to struggle, but still in P4, and we have Lobter overtaking Darts behind, and now chasing after a possible P4 right ahead. Also, there's a battle behind between Firestar, Skilltech, and Thomas is ready for P10. I'm not sure how Thomas is ready has this much trouble. I feel like Probably is fatigue getting to him for the time being. But that's okay, we go back to Lopter versus Darts versus 5-star right behind for the next positions. 20 minutes left to go, so just a third of the race gone and dusted at this point. And as Alex and Tits are still chasing each other with a little bit of a big gap right now, we have a look at Darts trying to stay behind Lopter, but I think he's gonna be able to stay probably just about here for the time being. The real menace for him is gonna be the Aussie, which is not an Aussie but it's a Kiwi, behind him, of course, which is 5-star. Let's see if 5-star is gonna be able to pressure him, and I think he is, because right now 0.5 is a very close gap between the two of them. And I feel like he's gonna be trying something as Darts goes wide, and of course out of the track limits a little bit. And Nezu, right behind them, he's keeping up pace and probably keeping up pressure as well. And we may want to try and fight like this, because this is another fight for points for the Ukrainian driver in P8 at the moment. As, of course, we get 5-star drifting through these last two corners. We get Alex racing in the 57.1 with Tits managing to stay in P2 but losing ground to the leader. Falcon in P3, Valiant in P4, and then Lopter and Darts trying their best to chase after them. Actually, Lopter is more than just trying that, because he's closing the gap to Valiant, and I feel like he may be able to actually, you know, do something for the battle for P4 soon enough. And I wonder if he's gonna be able to keep up the pace long enough to fight for the P3 as well, because Falcon is not that far away. I mean, 5.3 seconds are a lot, of course, but I know for a fact that he can be quite the aggressive driver. Also, let's move away from this fight and let's see from the Lopter point of view how he's gonna fight with Valiant, because right now the battle for P4 is right here and Valiant loses the rear. He tries to have a look around the outside, but it doesn't pay off, so he's gonna have a look on the inside instead. Valiant doesn't seem to be defending the position too much, but it's all gonna be decided on the brakes here, so they both brake very late, and I think Lopter is gonna be able to stay ahead. Yes, he is, as you can see from the backhand side window. He is ahead of our friend Valiant, and now he's gonna try and stay there into Acqua Minerali. He's gonna go probably a little bit wide. Yes, he is, of course. But as he goes wide, the battle seems to be over. I'm not sure if Valiant is gonna be able to retaliate for the time being. But as for now, I think this is gonna be how position are gonna stand for the time being. Meanwhile, Thomas spun at Acqua Minerali. I can just see that on the left hand side. Just missed that for the time being, but he's losing a lot of places, and this may spell doom for the race of the, I think it's a German, I'm not sure of what nationality he is, but that doesn't matter, as we can see Lopter drifting his way through and chasing after Falcon. We take a look actually at Forever, who is chasing after Jason Short for actually sorry, not Jason Short, after 5-star for P8. So 5-star had a little bit of a mistake probably in the last few laps, because he was close to Nezu and Darts, and now he's right behind, so surely not the best situation. But now he may be able to maybe fight with 5-star, although I feel like maybe 5-star has a little bit more, you know, grit compared to him. But this is still to be decided, of course. A very nice and calm situation for once here in round 3. 17 minutes left to go, and the only battle I can see very close is this one. Jason Short versus Thomas is ready. Battle for P13, with Thomas trying to find a way through, braking heavy into turn 1, Jason not letting him slide through, but into the second section there's a little bit of contact and Thomas goes wide. And I think he's gonna spin out. No, he's just about gonna keep it, but of course that's not gonna help his cause. Back to Forever, because apparently I was wrong. He's able to stay close to 5-star, and maybe, just maybe, he's gonna be able to fight for something more than P9, probably P8 as well. Skill Tech behind also in the points for the Kuma Motorsport, as well as Valiant. Also getting a nice manage of points. Also, what happened here? Tits, I literally didn't see this happen, but Tits must have made a mistake, because now Falcon is ahead of him, and Tits is down into P3. So I'm not sure of what happened, but the battle for P2, once again, is the protagonist battle to have a look at. And Tits, now he's in a little bit of a precarious situation, because he was fighting for P2 and now he's losing some time from the leader, and now from P2, which is Falcon. Not sure really of what happened. Likely a mistake into Acqua Minerali, but that doesn't matter. For now, the only thing he has to really keep in mind is the fact that Lobter is 6.7 seconds behind, and although 15 minutes are not a lot, we know how fast he can be. So for the time being, we're gonna have a look at them. We're gonna have a look actually at Adriat versus Rick, which ends up with Adriat getting wide, but also Rick getting very wide as well. And also, Jason Short getting close to this fight quite as well. While Thomas, struggling in P14, is not fighting a way through. Meanwhile, back to Tits versus Falcon. Actually, let's go on board. Helmet cam from Tits into Tosa. Breaking point. Very hard zone. Onto the traction. Very nice traction from both of them. And now going towards this fast left-hander up here, which once again I cannot remember the name of the track, oh sorry, of the lap time. Also, I think I saw Jason Short crashing. Yes, he has a problem into turn 1, so dropping back into P14 and likely P15 as well. We still have a look here into Acqua Minerali if Tits is able to maybe have a better exit than Falcon, and Falcon loses the car, but so does Tits, so both of them go very wide, and none of them gains a good exit. Very difficult track, of course, Imola. Very difficult to get into a fighting position in every single corner. But onto the exit here of Variante Alta, Tits, pushing as hard as possible, is still not able to find a fighting chance against Falcon. So, as the two of them continue, Lobter stays still 6.9 seconds behind, Valiant still in P5, and Dots still in P6. I just wonder what kind of lap time they are pulling out. So if we have a look, the last lap is for Alex Maggio. He's gonna cut the track now. It's a 56.7, so godly lap time for him. Then we got Falcon, who is racing in the, let's have a look, 57.8, then 57.8 for, of course, Tits as well, who is very close. Lobter, we're gonna have to wait for him, but he's racing in the 58s, then Valiant in the 59s, and Darts in the 59s as well. I think actually Valiant is at 2:06, while Darts, I think, made a mistake. Yes, it did, because Nezu is now fighting with him. So, while this happened, let's have an onboard camera from Tits, but let's have a look at Darts, because now he's in P7 fighting with a very, very warmonger, which is, of course, Nezu. Oh, Darts getting a lot wrong into this corner, and now he's gonna have the rear view mirror full of Firestar forever, and I'm gonna say skill tech, but I don't see him really too close to this battle, so a shame for that, but still a very strong result that would be if he finishes in P7. And so as Nezu decides to improve his race 1 condition with a potential P6 ending for this race, and potential also P5 if he manages to catch Valiant, we move back into the battle between Tits and Falcon, because both of them are, of course, pushing to the absolute limit of what their cars are capable of, and trying to get some more points, or actually some more improvement into this fight for podium. In the meanwhile, Ricciardo got overtaken by, I think that was Thomas. Yes, it's Thomas. So missed overtake, but that's what's happening in the lower parts of the field. And while that's happening, I'm gonna keep the onboard on forever because he's close to Firestar as well. And also keep an eye open for these two here, because I feel like Tits may be a little bit on edge with his car. He may be able to maybe fight a way through if he locks in enough, but that's difficult. And that's, you know, easier said than done. So I wonder, is he gonna be able to find a way into P2? Is he gonna be able to actually fight back? Or is he gonna finish in P3 and, you know, be happy about it? I'm not too sure, but we're gonna find out in the next 11 minutes. All the while, this is of course one of the closest battles we have on track. The other one being, of course, Forever versus Firestar. And while this happens, I wonder how Forever is gonna be able maybe to overtake Firestar, because this is a battle that has been going on since lap 1. And, you know, you have to wonder if that's gonna be the kind of battle they are able to sustain for the entirety of 30 minutes of a sprint race, which, although it sounds like a short period, I can guarantee you that driving for 30 minutes straight at the maximum of the potential that your car can handle is not as easy as it sounds. So as they all go towards or throughout the, of course, Villeneuve chicane. You can see Forever still trying to pressure a little bit faster, but not able to gain or dent his lap time just as much. And same for Tits, who was a little bit closer before to Falcon, and now he's losing a lot of time, at least in this lap, to him. The fight, of course, is still on. 10 minutes left to go. A mistake is all it takes for some of these drivers to lose a place or even more. And as we saw, of course, with Thomas, who is currently in P12 and still fighting to try and get at least into 1 point, everything is still possible. So, on board with Thomas at this point. Let's see what he can do. Actually, let's use the auto on board for once. As Tits actually get closer and Thomas gets wide, really. Let's see, Thomas versus Edriad, while Alex goes into the 56.8. Breaking point. Alex being very patient with Edriad, trying not to, you know, do anything silly. Forever also getting very close to Firestar. Actually, let's have a look at him. Lost Firestar to Forever, but he's not close enough to actually do a maneuver, so I bet on that. Let's go back to Tits. And all the while, Thomas, very nice heavy braking maneuver, climbs up into P, should be 11, and now he's chasing after one singular point for what should have been a very nice race for him. Sad day in the office for his team, but still, the championship is still long. We're just halfway through, and as Tits is actually trying to do a dive bomb on Falcon for some reason on the left-hand side, we actually take a look at the battle once again for P2, while keeping the battle between Thomas and of course the P10 position of Skill Tech in the left-hand side. Tits, of course, strong in some parts of the track, weaker in others. In a very balancing act between these two drivers, he's somewhat able to hold his position and get away from Lobter, who is now 10 seconds away. And as well as the two of them, of course, get a little bit wide into the Aqua Minerale, Thomas manages to climb it to P10, and with 10 seconds between him and P9, I think that's probably where his charge is gonna end, at least for the time being. So, a nice recovery surely, but of course a little bit of a disappointing race from his end, very likely. Meanwhile, also, I'm gonna take a look at Alex, because he's gonna get close to Musu for his blue flag situation. But while that happens, the real focus is this battle for P2, once again, between Tits and, of course, Falcon. Let's see, towards the start-finish straight. They tell me there's the battle for P7 also developing, which I saw before, but of course is still very difficult to have a look at. And while this happens, Tits is still not close enough to try, of course, end battle for P2. So, although the cam is gonna stay here, I think it's very likely and very better if we maybe take a look, just a slight peek at what's happening between Darts, Firestar and Forever in the battle for P7. I mean, that's what I would say if Tits doesn't have this moment, which is gonna cost him a lot of seconds and very likely his chance to fight for P2. Now Lobter, of course, is gonna see him in the distance and think, hey, this is my occasion. But this is gonna be in the next few laps. Now, back into the battle for P7. Darts versus Forever versus Firestar. All the three of them fighting, and with Firestar getting a nice exit into Tosa and Forever getting a not so nice one, we can see both of them trying their best to get at the exit of the corner. A very nice switchback from the Kiwi. He's gonna be able to keep the traction up to get into the inside of the next corner and probably fight for the position. No, he's not. Decides not to do that. And into this left-hander, he's gonna stay behind for the time being. On board with him, once again, the Aussie, the Kiwi, the Mexican screwdriver, which is, of course, all but his name, trying his absolute best, trying to find maybe something that he can gain out of here. With this very, 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 very hot track, very difficult to overtake and very intense to keep the pace up. He sets up a very nice exit and maybe, just maybe with the traction, he's able to get side by side with Darts and just maybe conquer P7, and he does before the braking zone. So now Firestar up to P7. Is Darts gonna be able to fight back into the braking zone? 5 minutes and something left to go. He's not. It breaks a little bit too late, and Falcon climbs up. Sorry, not Falcon. Firestar climbs up into P7 and now chases after Nezu and Valiant. So while the battle for P2 may be over for the time being, I feel like the battle for actually P5 may be the actual focus for this race, because these four, actually 5 drivers, if you consider Forever as well, although it's a little bit far away, are all fighting for the same thing, which is glory, and of course points as well. Let's stay with them, as Firestar has a little bit of a moment into T1, which may end up with Darts fighting back. I feel like it may be, because Darts is very close, and into the Villeneuve is a look down the inside, but it's gonna break sooner compared to Firestar, who's gonna try and keep this down the inside, and does magnificently, I could say. But now into the exit, into the Tosa, Darts trying to get an exit, maybe slides a little bit the ass of the car, but still manages to stay close and chase after that car. Intense battle. Darts loses a little bit of ground still, but the battle is not over. The battle is not over at all. Also, I gotta say, Iron Alex, which is here, is between the leaders, although he's not really in this fight, I gotta say, but that is not something we should concern ourselves with, considering that he didn't really have the very nice start, considering that he had to start from the pit lane. And while that happens, I think Darts gained back a lot of time to Firestar. I'm not sure how, really. I think he made a mistake into Acqua Minerali. And as we see him getting a little bit too wide into the exit of Variante Alta, both of them are chasing after Nezu, and we go on board with him to see if he's able to defend from the charging Kiwi and his Italian compatriot. We have 3 minutes left, actually 4 minutes left, so that should be around 2 to 3 laps, likely, near the end of the race. And I just wonder, is Firestar gonna be able to complete his charge, getting it to P6 and gaining some valuable points for this championship, or is he gonna stay here and say, yeah, this is about it, this is all I can do? I don't think so. If I were him in this situation, I would push as hard as possible. I would try to challenge for that position, give everything I have to see just how high I can fly with this Miata. And very likely is thinking the same. All the while Valiant, right ahead in P5, is thinking, yeah, let's hope they have a fight, because if they get through, if someone tries to chase after me, I may not be cooked, but this might turn into a very difficult situation, and that's not what he surely wants. So, Nezu, P6, Firestar, P7, Darts, P8, everyone fighting for everything. Are they gonna be able to stay there? Or is this gonna be it for the battle for the points? As Nezu goes wide, we can see Firestar right behind him, trying somewhat to get close as they go through Acqua Minerali, and we see Nezu having a little bit of a slide on the exit. Let's see, the gap is now 0.4 still, and getting very close, having a little bit of a look, but still not enough to have a maneuver. And as they go through the Variante Alta, all of them are very close, but not close enough to see a maneuver happening. And all of this, Darts manages to get close back to both of them. So 1 minute left to go. I think next lap is gonna be the last one. So this is all or nothing for the 3 drivers here fighting for points. And I just wonder, how is this gonna end? All the while Skilltech versus Adrian happening in the background. I'm gonna probably have a look at like this. I think Skilltech made a mistake. Yeah, very likely he did. And so, as they go through into what's potentially gonna be the penultimate lap, all 3 of them squabbling, trying to find a place both in this world and in this track. Let's see if they have into the breaking point. Darts touches the grass, and that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake for Darts. Aggressive maneuver which ends up with him losing actually position to Forever. And Forever climbs up into P9. Sorry, P8. I'm a little bit of a moron for that. Now Firestar pressuring Nezu for P6. having less pressure behind because of the mistake from Darts, having a little bit of a fake out into Tosa, and now trying to have a look at Nezu. All the while Lopter, also in P4, getting closer and closer and closer to Tits for P3. So all the battles are happening now. And as you can see, as Firestar is trying to stay as close as possible to Nezu, and Nezu goes very wide. I wonder if we're gonna see something into Aqua Minerali, because he is surely pressuring the Ukrainian driver to try to get everything out of this battle as much as he can. Now, as the leader crosses the finish line and starts the final lap of this race, we go on board with Firestar into the Variante Alta to see if he can actually get an exit, if he can actually get a run on that blue machine of Nezu, if he actually can complete his charge, if he can actually get into P6. This is all to play for into this last minute of the race. All the while, I'm gonna go on board with Lopter on the left hand side, because he's on a charge. 1.8 seconds in the last lap. I don't think it's gonna be able to recover those, except of course if this doesn't make a mistake. But we are gonna monitor that of course as well, while these two are fighting and trying the best. And I saw in the background Thomas overtaking Darts, so Darts having a very disastrous last part of the race. A shame for him, probably lost the rhythm in this last part, but still, he's fighting for a singular point, so it's not really over for him. All the while, this fight still raging on, still going on, and as you can see, as Firestar is trying desperately to get Nezu to make a mistake, he tries everything. He takes every single breaking point as better as he can, and as Nezu goes, I think, a little bit too wide. Maybe this is the occasion he was waiting for. He goes around the outside of Tosa onto the braking zone. Nezu goes onto the brakes as much as possible. Firestar tries to get the traction out of the corner, and I think he does, and thus tries now an attack onto the left-hander, but I don't think he's able to. He's a little bit too far away. But now Nezu goes wide, and now Firestar is finally able to find a way through and into the braking zone. He's gonna be ahead. Yes, he is. All the while celebrating while this happens, and while Firestar gets a little bit happy on the rear end. Alex Maggio wins the race, but now with a mistake from Firestar, is forever gonna be able to actually fight back. Yes, he is. And Forever gains the position on both of them and manages to climb up into P7 with a surprise ending with his fight for points. All the while, Falcon conquers P2, P3 goes to Tits, P4 to Lopter, Valiant running away 22 seconds behind all of them, but still in a very nice final position, and still in a very nice race with which at this point has actual fuel. Finishes in P5, then Nezu, Forever and undefeated because he's still fighting Firestar, trying to get of course through, but not able to get into this position. So they finish of course in P6, 7 and 8. Then Thomas somehow finishes in P9, followed by a little bit of a defeated but still valiant effort from Darts. And then we wait for the rest of the grid, which should be, of course, Edred. And also, what the hell is going on here? We got a battle for the last lap on the last corner between Jason Schott and Ricardo, which ends up with Jason Schott overtaking for P13, actually P12. Actually, P11, my bad. Ricardo, and climbing with a little bit of a teleport, a surprise one, into almost the point position. Then we wait for Skill Tech, finishing in P13, likely. And then, of course, Musu finishing the race here in P13. And with this, we just wait for Iron Alex, which I don't think he's gonna finish the race, considering that he parked up at the end of Tosa. And yeah, what can I say really? Interesting race. Intense race, of course. And with all the drivers disconnecting for the race, we finally mark the end of round number 3 of MYASS. What a nice race. What a intense race. What a strange race also. But that being said, yeah, what can I say? We exit, of course, the game for the time being. I'm gonna take the replay of the race to show in the background, so give me just a moment for that as I choke a little bit for various reasons. And in the meanwhile, let me just go into the interview room right here. And we wait, of course, for the other drivers to join for this race. I'm gonna show you, of course, the replay of the race quite soon. Just give me a bloody moment. So this was MYASS, round 3, race 1. Keep replay. And then, of course, we also have MYASS, round 3, race 2. And there's Tits joining, of course.
Of course.
Joining.
How many times did you drink?
I literally finished what I had to drink.
Oh, God.
It's not as much as you think. I just took a limit on what I could take, so I was like with this, and I was like, yeah, this is what I can drink and what I cannot. So with that being said, of course, don't think that they went full ballistic on that point of view. But that's not what we are here to talk about, of course. We are here, of course, to talk about the race and what we lived all together. So, where can we start? What can I ask? I can ask, of course, how the race went for both of you. So, who wants to start?
Vai, Ale.
Well, I mean, I was kind of disappointed with the qualifying and the first half of the first race because, well, it wasn't up to my standards. Obviously, they made me sweat a lot more than last time, and I had a lot of fun. That's a good thing. But well, yeah, I kind of fumbled on my own because I didn't feel the car like I did in practice. Yeah, I lost pole position, and at least I had a good and clean battle with all the contestants. And I'm even more surprised by the fact that I took less time in taking P1 in race 2 than I did in race 1.
Valiant?
Yeah?
Okay. Never mind.
A little bit of confusion here, but yeah, I gotta say, I was a little bit surprised about that as well, because race 1 was a lot more fought on the top side of the grid, of course. We had a very big fight between you, Lobter, Tates, Falcon, and also Thomas for the lead, which then, of course, was a little bit toned down in race 2 when everyone had a little bit of a disaster, let's say, of their own on the lower side of the grid, which should be shown, of course, in the in the race broadcast or whatever when you will have a look. But that being said, of course, congratulations first of all for both wins, both in race 1 and race 2. And yeah, let's just say that the pain of racing in Imola is over, because now we go to even more painful tracks for the next few rounds.
Yes. Can I just say
the next few rounds are peak.
What even happened at the start of race 2? How did I go from last to P3 in one lap? What?
You know it's bad when me, the guy who was actually watching the race to commentate, have no idea. So
I mean, the worst part is that I finished P5, so I think I was like P12. I overtook, I think, 7 people in turn 1, and I literally saw Forever dying on the right of me, and I was like, I somehow survived. And I had P1. No, I did not have P1. I had P2 at the end of the lap, because I saw Skillet going straight, and I kind of followed them. So Adrian took back the position. But I was shocked to seeing you in the rearview mirror. I was not expecting you there.
Hello.
So soon.
To be fair, I was also shocked with myself surviving the first lap. I was a lot more careful than I would have normally been for some reason. Like, in turn 1, I decided to brake. That's insane.
I mean, because we started the first and second with our team, me and Skilltech, we repeated don't fumble, don't fumble, don't fumble everything, and so we went really cautious. So maybe because of that it happened, and Manjgo gained a lot of position.
On my part, I can say that race 1, I had still a good start. I think Kate got killed into turn 1 first race, because I saw someone going to the grass, and I was convinced for the better part of the race that he was P1 leading when actually it was Lobter, because they have such similar liveries. And like I had a decent start, so I moved from P6 to P4, P3. Then I got overtaken by Thomas, and then for most of the race was just me and Falcon trying to get back to the guys in top 3, until at one point I kind of made a mistake into Acqua Minerali, which was clearly the worst part of my weekend. That specific corner, Falcon passed me, and from there the guy was just flying. He was setting such great laps, and so race 1 was a P5. Race 2, of course, went a little better. I love seeing the graphical bug in the live stream. It's amazing.
It's okay. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, getting P1 by the second lap was amazing. It was slightly less amazing seeing Maggio on my rearview mirror literally 2 corners later. So I gave everything. Of course, Alex got to me, and we fought for a little bit. I think we had a pretty good fight and kind of clean until
It wasn't
we
for
kinda
that
had-
one moment in Tosa.
like the moment in Tosa where he was all inside, I moved to the outside, but then he braked and moved to the outside, and I braked and I moved to the inside, so we kind of
Converged.
yeah. But apart from that, it was a cool race. Then of course I did not have the pace to keep up with him. I still found more pace into race 2, but then
My fucking race 1 lap, the fastest lap was quicker than my quali lap.
Yeah, I noticed that and
Yeah,
was
so-
surprised as well.
What the fuck?
that was crazy. And like the worst part is that all the problems I had into race 2, apart from Alex overtaking me, were my doing, because I clipped barely the grass on the outside of Acqua Minerali, which mind I say, that is a safety hazard. You cannot have grass that close to such a fast and tricky corner. That's genuinely trying to kill people. But of course,
To
we are
be fair,
Italians.
To be fair, there is a new version of this track where that part is, full of concrete, so there shouldn't be any issue.
Yeah.
But someone didn't
Okay.
have the pit boxes.
Hey, it's okay. And the last part
It's
was when I
about
was
the
trying.
recent one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last part was when I was trying to catch Falcon, and I was actually getting there. I was pushing like hell, and I just completely fumbled on the exit of Villeneuve. I was pushing really, really hard. I saw him not getting a good line. I tried to open up the exit and have more speed to overtake into Tosa, which is a corner that I actually really like overtaking in. And I just completely fumbled. And when you lose this car, there's no way you're catching it again. It's crazy. But yeah, P3, good points. Maybe I can still fight for a P3 in the championship, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to next round.
Well, what can I say really? All three of you had of course your highs in this weekend. We had of course the double win for Alex Maggio, which I think cannot really be beaten by something better. Maybe a pole position, but I won't really complain too much about that.
I'll tell you what it can be beaten by.
Let's see.
First in qualifying, first in race 1, first in race 2, fastest lap in both races, leading all the laps. That's what
Total
it is.
domination.
I mean at that point
is
we
satisfying.
would miss the fun of racing, I think. So I think it's a good thing that it didn't end up like that, of course. Except for that, of course, I think it was a nice weekend from your point of view. So what can I say? Double points, of course, double win, and of course next race is gonna be an endurance, so double points in offer. And as we saw, missing an endurance costed a little bit of time, a little bit of gap into the championship. So I expect you to be there next time and possibly fight for what's gonna be possibly the championship, which should be quite an intense final part of this second half of this championship. Then of course,
he did secure
sorry.
50 points, he did secure 50 points, and Lobter kinda had not a great weekend. He did get a P3 and a P4, so that's what 10 points lost in race 1 and around 13 points lost in race 2. He was
He
an
got P2
8,
in race 1.
so
He got P2 in race 1.
he got P2. I thought he got
Yeah.
P2.
Yeah, he did very well in race 1. Race 2 he was a little bit behind, but still in race 1 he did a very good job. So the fight is still very much on. So I expect the next half of the championship to be very intense between these two, of course. Then of course, that being said, we also have your side of the story, Tits, which is, I feel like, pretty much filled with glory and hardship, with very hard fighting all throughout the 2 races, which end up with very good results, considering that you don't really like this track too much.
Oh, I despise it.
Yeah,
all the time. Every time I made a
Oh,
mistake, it was
there
like,
you
I
go.
hate this corner so fucking much. Every time.
and then of course
Yeah.
we also have the side of the third guy in this interview, which I mean is a little bit silent, but I feel like should deserve, of course, a little bit of a shootout, which of course is Valiant, who managed to climb into an incredible result in race 2, which is quite a lot of points if you ask me. So, of course, great to see
Yeah.
him up there. And yeah, speaking of course about you, do you have a moment of the race you actually remember, something you want to share on your point of view?
The last lap, or I mean the last 2 laps, because Maggio ran away and completed 16 laps. She completed the 15 lap right at the end of the timer. So I was really nervous to throw it all out because 2 people were behind me, and I lost some position during the first laps, and I stayed in fourth, fifth position, and it was okay. It was okay for me. But seeing the other 2 guys behind me, I don't even remember now which one they were. Sorry, but I was really preoccupied, nervous to lose everything.
And speaking,
It was a good race. Instead, the other race, I threw it on the first corner of the first lap. I spun during the.
but
Yeah.
speaking of race 1, did you finish the fuel in race 1 at the end? Because I saw quite a
Yes,
scene.
I finished the fuel. I hope the other guys fighting each other finished the fuel also, but I was the only one. So I went on the side and finished the race, pushed by one of my teammates, Kiltek.
Incredible end of the race, of course. Yeah, I saw that live, and trust me, it was quite a
It
sight
was
to
photo
behold.
live?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, now I see to see it.
It was, and trust me, it was quite a sight to behold. But yeah, that being said, what can I say except this was a very nice race to see, and I'm very happy for how it turned out. Of course, it was maybe not as intense as round 1 as round 2, but I feel like it had very nice racing all around, and
Yeah.
with 3 very nice protagonists that we are interviewing, of course, yeah. So that being said, next round is gonna be in Dragon Trial. Have you got any plans for the future? Anything to think about for the next few part of the championship?
Maybe practice a bit more. I didn't practice at all for Imola.
Makes
So
sense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's why we were so quote unquote close, because I was expecting you to be like last time, over 2 seconds in race pace faster. You were, but more
Maybe
than
at
2
the
seconds
end.
was like more around 1 second. Yeah, at the end when you actually had the practice in, you were flying.
Can
Well-
we please never use more than 50 degrees of tarmac again? I beg you.
Don't worry
can't
about
drive.
that. Don't worry about that. That's not gonna be the case next time around. So
Thank you.
I mean, I pray to God that Imola is not gonna be there, because otherwise I am demolishing the whole thing to put a Famila into Acqua Minerali.
Fuck you.
Well-
If you dare put a Lidl in my race room raceway, I am putting a Famila in Acqua Minerali.
fantastic. So yeah, that being said, thank all of you for being part of this interview, of this race and this championship. And I'll see you all, of course, in the next round, which is going to be, of course, in Dragon Trial. So thank you again. And well, I got to
Okay,
see
I'm
you
gonna slap the
probably
next
the
people
last,
in.
yeah, the next guys. So thank you,
Okay,
thank
see
you
ya.
for all of this.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye bye.
And thus, we had the first 3 interviewers of this race, and now we wait for the next 3. Not sure of who are they gonna be. We're gonna find out soon. And likely they're gonna have interesting stories. And well, sure they have, because we have here Falling Falcon, and of course Thomas is ready. Which I wonder if he's actually ready for the interview or not.
I am.
He is, and
Hello.
so is Falcon, really likely. So, who wants to start before for this interview?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
So, a very nice race 1 and a not so nice race 2 as I saw, but still you managed to climb back into the points. So, tell us what happened in both of the races.
So race 1 was actually pretty good. I don't remember quite a lot what happened, but I remember us going wide in the last 2 corners. Even though I'm Italian, I will never learn corner names for Italian tracks.
Makes sense.
But I remember we went 3 wide and I did an double overtake on Alex and Lobter. So that was cool. Meanwhile, race 2, I got rear-ended in the first corner and then just kinda gave up. And I also committed many mistakes. Going back to race 1, unfortunately I couldn't keep up with Alex after he overtook me because I did a silly mistake and then he just had clean air, no need to defend, so his pace was just much stronger than mine.
But still, I think you managed to do, I mean, a very, very nice race 1, and then, of course, considering it was a little bit of a damage limitation, race 2 still went pretty well, all things considered. So, if you think about it, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it was alright. Just checking the replay again, and it was Lobter who killed me in cold blood.
He did that quite a bit.
Just a bit. But still, it's nice to see you, of course, racing and being in the fight for the lead, of course, and for the podium. So hopefully, of course, for the next round, which is gonna be, as I said, of course, earlier in Dragon Trial, I hope to see you, of course, here once again, and just know, of course, that it's gonna be
very much looking forward to it.
Just know, of course, it's gonna be an endurance race, so be ready because it's gonna be quite a tiring one, as usual we discussed. So hopefully you're gonna be ready and you're gonna be fighting once again for these higher positions.
I will be.
Very, very nice. And Falcon, on your side instead, how would you say race 1 and 2 went?
Race 1 was pretty okay. I was fighting with Tiz quite a bit at the start, and a lot of people just spun out and went off in front of me. And then we tried to catch up to the first 3 guys, I think it was 3. And then Lobter went off, rejoined, instantly blocked me, and we lost a bunch of time, Tiz and me. And then I apparently locked the hell in and lapped a second faster than normal for the rest of the race.
I mean, we can say that
To
maybe
catch up.
it got to you, but surely it worked.
Yeah, the anger. And then in race 2, I don't know. The start was absolute chaos, as always, because reverse grid go we. Everyone went off basically in the first few corners. I just gained positions left and right. And then ended up, I think, 3rd behind Tiz. And was quite way back. And then he made a mistake, or multiple mistakes, at the fast double right-hander into the compression.
Oh yeah, the
out.
Acqua Minerali, you mean?
Yeah, don't know.
yeah, it's that corner. It's that corner.
I don't like Imola. I refuse today.
Yeah, no, you should.
Yeah, and then I pretty much got free track to the end of the race with a P2.
Yeah, I mean, overall, a very positive weekend. So a bunch of points, of course, for the championship. And yeah, thankfully, I think maybe for both of you, I mean, up to now, I've seen that Imola is not really a light track, which, I mean, it's a little bit surprising from my side, but I can guess it's a difficult track.
It's better than Sepang, but it's not a lot. Not by a lot.
It's okay. But that being said, of course, now that the worst, let's say, is past, because we had Sebring, which was not an easy track, we had Imola, which is not an easy track, we moved towards Dragon Trial, which is, well, not gonna be an easy track as well, but it's gonna be probably easier compared to this one. What are your plans for the next race? What do you plan to do for this next endurance?
Not practice, and I've never driven at Dragon Trail before. and no practice because I'm gonna have 12 hours of Le Mans in, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks with 60s cars, and I gotta practice for that.
Makes sense.
Because fast people are there.
Makes absolute sense, of course. And Thomas, on your side, how are you gonna prepare for the next endurance race?
Hopefully practice this time around, because this week I had zero time to do any laps. So I pretty much started driving the car on Imola 1 hour and a half before the event, and then I spent like 20 minutes having dinner. So like, yeah, I had pretty much zero practice. I was actually quite happy with my pace and getting like P4 in qualifying. But yeah, I'll try to practice a lot more this next week, especially since I have never driven on Dragon Trial.
It's okay. Many people probably haven't driven, especially on the layouts we're gonna have. So, yeah, surely it's gonna be interesting the next one. But that being said,
Yeah.
well, what else can I say? We are live, of course. So if you have anything else to say, if you wanna say literally whatever you want, you can now before, of course, going to the next interviewers. So up to you.
See you next week, I guess.
All right. So, a very nice little salutations, let's say. And, well, first of all, thank to both of you for having you here. And see you now around next week or next 2 weeks. Depends, of course, in what's gonna be on my site. So, that being said, thank you. And we are gonna move, of course, into the next interviewers.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, we wait, of course, that the race direction, or just the guys in the other chat, decides to show us something, and we got Firestar and Nezu here in the interview room. So hello there, mates. How are you?
Hello. Honestly, a lot of emotions, positive ones for once. Firstly, in the first race, I got first points, obviously, and the second race was even better. But basically, damn, it was a full day of me just driving around because I haven't played a racing game in a week. No, a racing sim, a racing game, both of them. And to be fair, in qualifying, I thought that that's over for me, that I won't even get to the points, because honestly, the reverse grid is genuinely helping a lot. It gives you more than you can chew, and I'm still chewing on it.
Well, I mean, I think you still did a very good job, especially in race 2. So, all things considered, first point in race 1, and of course a bunch of points, a lot of points in race 2, which was not easy, considering that you had like to fight off the pressure from darts forever, and of course also the here present Firestar. So, all things considered, I think of course it was a very nice race 2. So, first of all, I'm happy for, of course, for your first points, for the incredible race 2 you had, and yeah, what else can I say? Was this actually I should ask, how was the race for you? I mean, do you have anything you can share on the feelings you had on this race?
Well, to be fair, the fight with Firestar wasn't really a fight. Like, it was more of a respectful getting together. Let's just say it that way. Honestly, we just saw that we are like similar in pace and stuff. While in Sebring,
We didn't kill each other.
Yeah, we didn't kill each other. That's as much is for sure. There were some incidents where it was like judgmental. I don't even know how to properly say it, but basically, yeah, there were some moments where I think I was half at its fault, but they looked like a racing incident for me anyways. But honestly, just I thought that the music won't help me as much as it, because it didn't help me that much in Sebring. But here, honestly, I locked in so hard. I was doing like low 159s like 3 times or 4 times in a row, even though I was barely struggling to get to 159.8 or so in the qualifying. So honestly, I'm happy with the consistency I got. That was honestly a great experience. It's very rare that you have such close racing. So that's what I have to say.
Well, that's fantastic, of course, to hear. And of course, with the next round coming up, I expect to see a lot more of these. Although, of course, the next round is going to be an endurance, so maybe a little bit tougher compared to this one. But I'm pretty sure that with all the progress you've been making, I'm pretty sure we're going to see you in the midst of action once again. So, first of all, very nice to see you here. Very happy to see you here in this championship. And, of course, I'm hoping to see you, of course, in the next round as well. As strong as ever.
I'll definitely be there. If I'm gonna finish there well, that's a good question because I have never seen or touched the Dragon Trails the same way I didn't touch the Sebring. But now I have a whole week when I know that I'll participate and I'm like Sebring when I joined 2 hours before the start of the race, but we do not talk about that. But basically, I would say that it's possible. I mean, from what I have heard, this is gonna be the longest track on the calendar, right? It's like
I'm not sure
some
if
people
it's
told me-
longer than the last round, which is gonna be Le Mans, but very likely it's gonna be very close on length. So yeah, very likely it's gonna be either the longest or second longest track on this whole championship.
Honestly, I love to train my stamina in endurance races, so I'm definitely gonna be there unless something happens. Hopefully with Firestar too, but who knows?
I mean, the good news that I have is that probably, likely, it's either gonna be a week since the next race, or likely gonna be 2 weeks, because there's gonna be probably a little bit of an interference in the middle. So likely there's gonna be a little bit more time to train for that track. So all things considered, there's gonna be a lot of training, a big training arc coming up for the next
That
endurance
much is
race.
true. Yes.
So yeah, that being said, I hope, of course, to see you around there, to see you fight for the points. And as we say this, let's actually move to the next person here in the interview room, who has been sitting silently hearing this part of the interview, which is, of course, Firestar. So
I didn't want to interrupt too much.
no, it's okay, of course. So, how was your race, both 1 and 2, from your point of view?
Well, race for my quality started off horrible. I think my time was like slower than 2 minutes, which I know it can be faster. But luckily, race 1 at the start, I gained 4 positions, so that kind of made up for it a little bit. Race 1, I had the Nesu experience of just it ended up with me like being 15 seconds behind like Falcon and Tiz, and then 10 seconds ahead of the person behind me, who I don't remember who it was. Race 2 was very fun though.
Yeah, race 2, you were in the middle of a fight for P6 in the end.
Oh, yes, yeah. The problem is that I only got 4 hours of sleep, and so by race 2, I was losing concentration, making a lot more mistakes. As we saw at the end there, trying to overtake Nesu, and then just losing to P8. I'm gonna be honest, I was really hoping to keep that P7, so I could say I got P6 and 7. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, but what can you say? It was still a very nice race. Of course, as I said before, Imola is a very hard track, so I wouldn't really feel like it wouldn't really be how can I say this? It wouldn't really be right to make fun of mistakes, because being a very hard track, I know how easy it is to just be a little bit too wide, a little bit too aggressive on some curbs, and just losing a lot of time, because this track bites back when you do mistakes. So really, all things considered, I think you did a very, very nice race, and you did also two very nice results. So nice points brought back to the championship, and of course the fight going around for the next part of for the next half, of course, of the championship, which is gonna be the last 3 rounds of this whole thing. Also, I'm kind of wondering how the driver standings are, and currently you are in P10, followed by
I
Darts
didn't
right
race
ahead.
last week, so
Yeah, it makes sense, of course, there's a little bit of point missing for that. You are just ahead of Valiant GB and right behind Darts, but still in a very nice P10, if you ask me.
nice. That's I'm happy with that. We'll see how it goes in the future with how much I can race. I'll hopefully be able to do at least 2 for free. But it's just airsoft and sim racing happen on the same date, same time, and so my friends beg me to join them in airsoft. So gotta pick and choose.
I mean, yeah, you have to consider, of course, that this is more of a fun championship. Like, it's nothing serious. So it's not like if you finish lower in the championship, it's the end of the world. I just want all the people here to have fun. So all this considered,
Oh, yeah.
don't worry about that. So just have fun
So fun.
racing, and of course enjoy all the battles and the rides that happen between the the steps, let's say, of this championship.
I can't wait to procrastinate an entire 2 weeks before spending only the last day learning the new track that I've never driven before.
So
Absolutely.
you're actually incorrect because you're saying an entire day. You mean 2 hours.
True. 2 hours right before you go to sleep.
Yeah, to be honest, you should go to sleep if you slept only 4 hours today.
Should be right, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, as we said before, you're live. If you want to say whatever, this is your occasion, because otherwise we're gonna move to the next interview, of course. So up to you, lads.
I would agree with some people before on the interviews that I am not a big fan of Imola. I do not like Imola. I'm sorry.
And we are at 3 people now. Very nice.
On the contrary, I absolutely fucking love it. Oh, sorry for my language. I absolutely love Imola.
Brilliant.
Chaikawan.
Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, what can I say? Thank you, of course, for being here, and I'll see you possibly either next week or in 2 weeks' time. So thank you, and see you around.
Take care.
Take care.
See you.
Bye bye. So those were, of course, Nezu and Firestar, and now we wait for potentially. Oh boy, here we go. We have Nezu. Sorry, not Nezu. What the hell am I saying?
Netsu. What?
My bad. We have Jason Short here, also known as E, and of course Riccardo, or Ricciardo. I'm never sure about that, but of course I'm gonna call him Riccardo with the C. So, how was it, mate?
I want to posit 2 questions. I guess I'll do the first word on this. Well, my first question is, between the 2 earlier races, do you ever notice kind of like a tone change between the top scores and the kind of lower scores as you get through the interview process? Do you hear more grumbles or anything like that?
I mean, they seems quite happy usually, but I feel like we're gonna hear a change.
Everyone's running the race of their life, so I mean, yeah, it's fair. But secondly, I have before I kind of answer your question, I've heard through the grapevine, and by the grapevine I mean through my driver radios and the center of my dash, of a kind of a drinking game you played through the race.
Oh no, don't just drinking some water while
Yes,
watching
just
race.
water.
Nothing too bad. Yeah.
Just water. No funny drinks every time MYASS was mentioned.
No. Why would you ask that? Of course, because like
Well, you want to stay hydrated, of course.
Yeah. I mean, you also like last time you told me that I should actually keep some water close when I do this commentary, because otherwise I would get, of course, a little bit dehydrated, which would be bad.
I think that's kind of the thing for everyone. In close battles, you want to keep a bottle of water.
Oh yeah, of course.
A bottle of water, I know.
More water.
I kind of forgot the initial question. How was the race? Didn't maximize as usual. Kind of made some silly mistakes and fell back with the other guy in call, I think. With Riccardo.
Ow.
Well, Riccardo, what am I supposed to say? We're both back here, kind of just riding around.
Yes. That's a good point.
And I think we both wish we could have done more with our race cars, but we were both
Yes.
making mistakes. And fighting hard. Riccardo, I'll be honest with you. That race 2, I wanted to pit you, but I was just going to stay aggressive rather than, absolute death. Because I don't understand your breaking point sometimes, but it's how it goes.
Oh yeah, that's. I also don't know my breaking points. I just said,
Oh,
okay, this is a good time to break.
this is a good time to break. Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. Most of the qualifying and through the first race, I was feeling about the same. I hadn't anything established yet. So Yeah, like a lot of drivers, I think this weekend we kind of just like remembered there was a race, and we went out
Oh
and
no!
practiced for the last last 4 hours going to the event, even though it's like a full week in advance. So
Yeah. There were not enough pinks there reminding us that it exists.
Oh well.
well,
I mean, I'm
not
gonna
that the
keep that in
pings would have
mind.
done anything. So I thought about the race the entire week before. I just never did anything about it. Um, I procrastinated hard on the whole practice thing, so it was a scheme. So I'm hoping I did not mention there was supposed to be a new scheme because there was, but I did not have that ready. So no promises for next weekend, except that I'll be there.
I mean, no problem. But I mean, keeping this in mind, probably I'm gonna probably ping just a little bit more, but nothing to worry. So I mean, I don't want this to be a time-consuming thing. I just want this to be a little bit of funny racing we have on the night to see who is the better Miata driver, or just generally who's gonna
You're...
have the better crash during this whole event. So
I gotta
I'm,
stand. I gotta stand proud. I'm Miata.
yeah, exactly. So
I'm very good at crashing. That's... Give me a target and I will kill them.
I mean, I'm not sure that's the point, but I mean, as long as you have fun somehow.
Ricardo, next weekend, could you just like get the guy who's in front of me, whoever is in front of me? Can you just like bomb him out of the way? If it's 2 or 3 cars, bomb all 3. It's like a bowling target.
There's a slight
You gotta
chance
get
I
all the
might also
pins.
take you.
That's true. Yeah. Don't do that actually.
No, race 1, I had a good start from P14. I went up into, I believe it was P10. Then I saw Katte in the gravel at turn 1. I was like, that can't be Katte. No. And it turns out it was Katte.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
surprised. Then a few corners later, I'm back into P14. That basically sums up race 1. Race 2, I slightly forgot the race was starting. Get to turn 1, completely forget what I wanted to do. And yeah, slightly fell back. Slightly fell back again.
Did you go to P14 this time? Or?
No, I went into P9, I believe. Then at one point, me and E were a bit fighting. I braked a bit earlier than E expected, and he slightly touched my ass and went flying.
Smashed the back of this. Was it in the turn 1?
Well, I
Oh
mean,
my god, what are you doing?
It was just a little loft
no-
up, so I
no.
feel like it was okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Ricardo, by being in front of me, is playing on some of my weaknesses, which is that I need to see the track before I can feel confident about braking. So, of course, I had my car positioned at the very, very right side of the track. Ricardo trying to kind of defend and block, so I can't go on the very, very left. So he's just kind of there. I'm kind of halfway there, but he brakes before me. So I slam into the back of him on his rear quarter panel rather than squarely into him. So we both don't go flying. He just kind of takes the turn, and I die in the turn 1. Very
And,
I was quite pissed about that. I was seeing red the entire rest of the race after that, not including the fact that I was seeing red after I was pitted by him earlier in the race when there was actually cars around me. I may have also I don't know what happened there.
To be
That
clear,
out of the
what happened in lap 1? Basically, I think I was alongside Falcon. We were 3 wide.
alongside a
and
few people fell back a little bit. And I was trying to find a hole there.
I was
and
Falcon and I believe Lobter.
something like that.
I had the outside, so I got the worst end of the stick.
Yeah, we fell
And
back a bit.
got crushed into the wall because Lobter had some understeer and he was all the way inside. Falcon had nowhere to go, so it got transferred into me, and then I was in the wall. Then I took out E when by spinning.
Yeah, I was wondering like what was going on there because it's like you fell back as far as I remember. Like, seeing red in the like end parts of race 2 kind of like sent in a little bit of dementia for me because I don't really remember what happened in race 1 or like the start of race 2. I'm sitting there like Grandpa Joe, 89 years old, and anyway, yeah, I was trying to kind of swim in the middle there, and I got bit. Kind of, honestly, the same end of the car as I had hit you with, but still spun on my own. I think this is like a ping issue. I get into a car and I go flying, and then there's also a few incidents I had in race 1 where I completely miss a corner, kill like forever. That was race 1, I think, though. Not be able to actually bring out some pace to go get back up to him, and more or less doing the same things with Ricardo. That was these have all been kind of races to forget. Unfortunately, that's how it goes.
I mean,
I gotta
it's
stand
okay.
proud on Miata.
The funniest thing that happened was the finish straight in the last lap. He overtook me in the last corner. He was like, when he crossed the finish line for me, he was like a second in front of me. But then suddenly he teleports back almost into me.
I
was
remember
like,
that.
Oh yeah.
remember-
I think I saw that live because of course when everyone crossed the line it was like, oh hey, what are these
There's
two
only
doing?
like 2 people left.
Yeah, it was like, oh hey, what
Yeah,
are
no,
these two
I-
doing? And I saw
Fuck!
that and was like, what the hell is going on here?
That was a I didn't know
got a
that was
heart
going to
attack
quite
from that.
work, but I just I used as much car as I could, and I used as much track as you had left, and I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
it
no,
went
I just had
on at the
big
last
skill
turn.
issue.
I think I
No,
set
no.
up for the last turn, and you fell back a little bit, and then that last turn, it was all game over. I was able to get in front of you as you were on the outside, and whenever you're on the outside of the last corner, you just lose all speed.
No,
So
I generally just suck at
it's-
the last sector of Imola.
I don't get the last sector either. Like basically into Vanta Alta and past that is like trying to get a monkey to operate a golf cart. It's not very. Things go wrong generally, and I lost a lot of time through that sector when I made mistakes. Like other parts, it's like you can kind of recover from something. Like I know the first 2 chicanes, you can kind of like, you can at least try to undo your mistakes out of the corner. Like you get the entry wrong, but then you could just take the second corner and you've at least got that to work with. So you still lose like a tenth or 2, but it's not as like horrific. But like that last section, if you don't absolutely know what you're doing through Vanta Alta, you lose all the time in the world. And of course, I think everyone that was around my pace was doing that all the time. But when you really messed up Vanta Alta, you really messed it up. So you lose a bunch of time to there. And then on the next corner after that, I don't really know where I want to brake on that corner. So I brake a little bit late and don't quite make the corner, and then I go out wide, hit a bunch of dirt, lose a bunch of time there. Same as
Been there,
the
done that.
exit. Yeah, same as the exit past that as well, which I think that's where Ricardo kind of lost in that last corner.
But I mean,
So,
look at the bright
it
side.
came down to it came down to the wire, and I think kind of this Miata is good at putting on good races. It's a small car. It can use a lot of the surfaces that bigger cars really can't, and it can put on some great racing here. I think I think I stick with a lot of drivers here, and that I also absolutely hate Imola as a track.
Yes.
Maybe for me it's more that I hate the last sector of Imola. Like if that just like didn't exist and there was just a long, if there was just like you take the last section and you replace it with like a stretched and squished version of Indianapolis, and I think it'd be an okay track, but it's not that, so it's horrible.
I mean, it's okay, but look at the bright side. Now we move away from the Italian soil, of course, to go into Croatia for Dragon Trial, which should be, of course, a track you should know, of course, a little better than Imola, since it's famous for all the ERL races we got there. And
here's the problem.
Yeah.
Sure. Dragon Trail is a fictional track, and it's one of Gran Turismo's fictional tracks. Problem is, I ain't touched a Gran Turismo game since Gran Turismo 6, when the online function of that shut down. So it's going to be a completely new track for me, and it's going to be, honestly, outside of like driving some of the ports of the older tracks that people have done for Assetto Corsa, like Trial Mountain and Deep Forest. It's going to be the first time I'm back on a fictional Polyphony Digital kind of course. And one thing I'm looking forward to is that no one's going to have the Italian advantage. That it's not going to be a home race for half the field. So I'm hoping to do a little bit better there for sure.
I have a little bit of a sad news for you, which is the fact that Croatia is very close to Italy, so maybe, just maybe, there may still be still be some little bit of track advantage. But that being said, of course. Yeah, so sorry, go on.
Is Croatia like in the Balkans?
Yeah, it's like that. It's very close to Italy, so.
I'm hoping Italians avoid like the Balkans entirely, like the plague. Else I'm kind of done. You might be right there in a way. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's what, a week out or 2 weeks out?
We're gonna see. I'm gonna confirm, of course, during this week if it's gonna be next week or the one after. So I'm gonna ping, of course, for that. But
I'm thinking on it. Real philosopher and call here. Max.
Yeah, but that being said, of course, well, what can I say? Hopefully, this is gonna be even more fun. The next race. I mean, let's look at the bright side. We got the most painful tracks away from us because we had like 7
I don't know.
We got.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I refuse to accept that the worst part's over because there's still Le Mans.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
You're gonna fall asleep on the on the straight. Oh God, there's a corner.
Yeah.
Yes. What I think would make Le Mans more interesting is either to add wet racing or a safety car halfway through to get the field back together and then have a race restart.
Le Mans will be more interesting if they just like add like double the chicanes they have currently on the back straight.
No.
If we go from like if we go from like 2 to like 6, I think we'll be okay there. We definitely won't like top out at the end of various straights after that.
Well, that would be of
course.
Which
that's going to make dive bombs really interesting because you're not going to be able to gain speed from drafting at all. Like the Miata is already like really bad for drafting. It doesn't really get behind a car. You just kind of sit there with the other guy, and you have to kind of break your normal point anyway. But it's going to be even bad when both of y'all are topped out and literally can't go any faster than y'all are like currently. I think that's going to make the back straight like at least interesting, if not more interesting than the rest of the track. I feel like people are going to try some wild things through that section, at least hopefully.
Yeah, surely that's gonna happen. But yeah, that being said, what can I say? 3rd round is done. 4th round, 5th round, and 6th round are waiting for us on the horizon. And well, I hope to see you there, of course, to have some nice race. Because, I mean, all the time you two race together, we had some fun stuff. And hopefully, this is not gonna stop anytime soon. So, that being said, I hope to see you soon for the next round. And I just say see you around. And well, last thing I want to say is you're still alive, so you want to say anything, that's the right time before saluting you.
I got a thing, but I want to let Ricardo go first.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Well, I guess he went. What's the 5th race?
The
kind of forgot.
The 5th race is gonna be Okayama, also known as the Pacific.
Okay, that's gonna be a really good track for these cars as well.
I feel like, yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, I don't have anything to say to the audience either, so I guess we'll go and let the Is there anyone else left?
I
Adrian
think
Tiz, right?
maybe. I'll just wait for
Something
Tits
like
to
that.
make people enter the stream. So
Something like that. Tiz knows. Tiz knows. So I'll see the chat later, I suppose.
Alrighty.
Goodbye,
See you
chat.
next. See you next time.
Goodbye,
chat.
Twitch chat room.
alrighty. Bye bye, lads. And with them gone, I mean they're still alive, of course. We wait for the next interviewers for this whole thing, which I don't know who are gonna be. We're gonna hear them soon. And there you are, Adrian and
Sorry.
Tits once again.
Yeah, we are. Adrian is the last one, so I'm just here to close things up.
Okay,
There you
no
go, I'm
problem.
gonna shut up.
So, Edred, I'm gonna try and find you in the stream, in the replay. There we are. So, that was a very strong qualifying, I gotta say, from you. And, well, race went not exactly as you may have planned, but still, it was a nice showing in both opinions.
Unfortunate or unlucky is the name of the night.
I mean, likely.
In the
as you,
first race,
yeah.
I got in a fight with Nessie, I believe it's his name.
Nezu, you mean?
And I tried to overtake. Yeah, I guess, like the blue car, the deep blue car.
Yeah, it's Nezu, it's Nezu.
Yeah, Nessie. Okay. I tried to overtake on the fourth corner on the right side, and I don't know if there was a lag spike or something, but from a really small touch, my car went like 360 on the wall.
Oh man, well,
So
that's yeah, that's unlucky.
I lost it, and I became almost last on that single touch, and I really almost came back to overtake him again. Like on the end, I was 11th, and I was right behind Nesu. So I had the pace. It's just I got unlucky. And on the second race, I was feeling strong for getting some points in 5th or 6th. And then Thomas came behind me, and he was much faster than I am. And I guess I have really different braking points than him, and he rear-ended me 3 times.
Yeah,
Like,
we catch some
we
of that
went
during the
up-
stream, sadly.
Yeah. And he even said he was sorry, and he like fall back. You can see it on the stream right now, I guess. He fell back to give me some space and stuff, but and yeah, I ended up 11th again. It's just I'm cursed.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, sometimes racing can be this painful, and
Yeah.
trust me, I know that for experience. But the good thing is that, you know, the qualifying you showed was incredible in terms of pace. Like literally, I saw you on the screen at the end of the qualifying, and it was like, damn, that's some serious pace. And although it was really unlucky both in race 2 and race 1 and race 2, I know just for a fact that stuff will probably and very likely go better, especially in the next few races. So, all things said, just know that you
I mean,
have
I
the
have
pace.
the pace. I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the
It
pace,
was-
you have the strength to fight. And that being said, yeah, sadly I know that probably it's not really the best race to talk about what happened, considering what transpired both in race 1 and race 2. But what can I say except, well, first of all, that I'm happy, of course, to have you here in this championship, and of course, that next races are awaiting, and seeing how fast you are going, you were going also in the last round and this one as well, I'm kind of excited to see where you will end up in the next few ones.
Yep.
So that being said, well, yeah, as we said, sadly there isn't really too much to say about what happened, because as we say, sometimes it is what it is. All I can say is, well,
Yeah, it is what it is.
all I can say is, well, if you got anything you wanna say here on the stream while you are here, you are free to do so.
I don't think there's much to say, to be honest.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think I can keep like improving to be like around the position I was today. Like I believe I was on pace. I should be 5th or 6th.
Yep.
But
That's
if
that
there's-
surely is a positive.
If I have a clean race for once, because last time it was my mistake. I lost it a lot in Sebring, and this one is
it was just unlucky with the touches. So yeah, I hope I have a clean race next time.
You
It's
will.
always important to strive for better.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll get there.
You will, man. You will. Thank you once again for being here. And of course, I'm gonna see you next round around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
So now
Bye.
that we are here, Maxer,
Yes, I am here.
what can we say?
Well, I mean, I should be the one to ask you that, but yeah, this was quite an interesting round. Probably not as exciting as the last two races, but I mean, last two races were absolute bangers. This one had a lot of fighting, really. Had a very interesting fight, especially in race 1, and some interesting sporadic fighting in race 2. But
Yeah, I mean,
what can I say?
it was
You got it. Sorry, I was interviewing.
okay. Yeah, I was like, oh my god. No, I want to say it's still more exciting than the actual Imola Grand Prix, so that's a plus for sure.
I mean, I feel like the actual Imola Grand Prix, like the Formula 1 that happened last year, I think it's quite underrated. Like, if you actually watch what happened in the race, you actually find out that more than what you think actually happened. But
Yeah, but you're not seeing these kind of fights and overtakes.
I mean, it's WEC races here. The bloody endurance races race here, and you see all kind of stuff here as well. So, really, it's a nice track. Believe me, I know every one of you hate this track, but trust me, this. I
yeah,
swear.
like, as much as I hate Imola, I gotta admit this is probably the first time I had good results here, and it was a good race. I'm sorry that Kate rage quitted, but that's the relationship he has with Imola. It's never treated him well. So what I wanted to say is thank you again for hosting. It was a great event, and I'm pretty sure the chat had a lot of fun with you drinking the living hell every time you said the magic word.
No, I mean, it was fine. I mean, I got hydrated enough, so it's okay.
Hydration. But yeah, thank you very much, and I would just want to quickly say to whoever is in the channel, whoever will watch the stream, if you are not, please consider checking the Downtown Racing server. You are more than welcome to join.
I think I forgot to link the server once again in the description, but I surely do
It's okay.
in the next part. I mean, usually the people who watch the stream are the same who are in the server, so usually it's not
exactly.
it's not too much. But I'll likely link it next time around, so I'll try not to forget this time. So it's gonna be alrighty, as we say. But yeah, this being said,
I'll let you close things up. Yeah.
This being said, as you can see here, there's a lot of tiredness, a lot of, you know, the voice of a man who fought with his life against everything, both the truck, the car, and other people. But with this tiredness, we do what we do better for this kind of stuff, which is, you know, saying good night to everyone, of course, and thanking you all for watching this absolute mess of a championship, which is the MYASS championship, also known as Miata Euro Speed Star. And that being said, all I can say is see you around for the next round, which is going to be the endurance race around Dragon Trial, not the seaside, not the the gardens, but both of them united at the same time in the double dragon layout. And yeah, that is about it. I think
that's cinema.
I think we are done for tonight. And with these words of wisdom, which are not wisdom and not words either, I think I'm just gonna say goodbye to everyone. And